Hello and welcome into Ann Arbor, Michigan here at Raymond James Stadium. Along with Lincoln Iaquaniello, I'm Theo Shernoff. Thank you for joining us on WCBN Sports. We're just seconds away from first pitch here between the Michigan Wolverines and the USC Trojans. Lincoln, how you doing on this fine morning?
I'm doing excellent, of course. This game got moved up a couple of hours due to some weather concerns for later on in the day. However, right now, it's a little bit windy, but it's a nice sunny day, mid-temperatures, and it looks great out there.
Michigan coming off of a 7-4 loss at the hands of these same Trojans last night in their first home series of the year. But today they look to avenge that loss with Dylan Vigue on the mound for the Wolverines. He has a 4.91 ERA, but putting in a lot of innings so far on the year, and his batting average against is only .232. Lincoln, what are you looking for out of Vigue today?
I mean, I'm just really hoping he can lock up some of USC's top players out there. I mean, we're looking at Hedges, 3.79 batting average. Of course, he is always dangerous. And then, just going off of what we saw yesterday down here in Ann Arbor, obviously USC put up 7, so we're trying to conserve that. Even if you can keep it to 4, Michigan was getting hot at the end of the game yesterday. So if they can keep up some of that momentum from last night, whatever they found then, maybe they can bring it out today in this slightly more bright and well-lit environment.
You mentioned it, Michigan looking to bounce back, 7-4 loss. A little bit uncharacteristic of these Wolverines coming off of a win on Tuesday against Toledo, and then in East Lansing they took the win against rivals Michigan State on Wednesday. Behind Vigue will be Jonathan Kim in right field, A.J. Roush in left, A.J. Roush in center, Colby Turner in left. The infield from left to right, Cole Caruso, Benny Casillas, Mitch Voigt, Jeter Ibarra, and the signal caller for the Wolverines is Matt Spear behind the plate. It's a pretty typical lineup for these Wolverines. Voigt has started every game at second. He's the player to watch today, Lincoln. I'd say he's batting above 400 on the year. His on-base percentage is a ridiculous 500, getting on base 1 out of every 2 plate appearances. He's a threat to any pitcher, and he's kind of been the powerhouse for this offense all year.
Absolutely. I mean, Voigt is Michigan's guy right now. He has been playing quite literally out of his mind, out of the stat sheet. He is going to be on the top on the stat sheet probably for the remainder of the season if he keeps playing how he's doing. And, you know, coming in where he is in the order, which,
batting third today. He is
Yes.
followed by Ibarra with the cleanup spot. Leading off for these Trojans, though, who will be up first, it is Braden Dowd, the center fielder. Vigue, Dowd, Michigan versus USC. It's 12:02. We're just seconds away from first pitch. The Wolverines have taken the field to warm up. It's a crucial first inning, Lincoln, right? You want to get out of this inning as quick as possible, get Vigue some momentum. If he can go deep into this game, that can give your bullpen some rest and allow you to get ready for that game tomorrow in the series finale, and hopefully for Michigan, take these final 2 games to steal the series away from the Trojans.
Absolutely. That's the big issue here with having 3 days of back-to-back-to-back games. Making sure your team is well rested and is playing at their best. Because this USC team doesn't maybe show it necessarily in the record like Michigan, but they'll exploit any weaknesses they find. And coming off of, again, that game yesterday, Michigan really needs to put in their A game in order to come up with a win, in order to not lose the series.
Vigue throwing his final warm-up pitches, ready for first pitch. Braden Dowd, a Michigan native, returning home, went to Brother Rice High School here in the state of Michigan. So a little bit of a homecoming for him. There's some USC fans in the crowd. I'm sure he's got a little bit more representation here at home. He's a sophomore. He is in center field today, a lefty up to bat first. You mentioned Vigue on the mound, sophomore, .491 ERA. He's allowed 19 hits, 15 runs, only 12 are earned. He has walked 16 batters in those 22 innings, and he's hit 4. The righty pitcher toes the rubber, and Dowd finds himself at home in the lefty batter's box. We are underway here in Ann Arbor. The first pitch, right down the middle of the fastball. Strike one, 0-1.
Great look there. And again, Dowd taking that, staring him down.
The second pitch inside, scoots by Spear. Dowd takes ball 1-1.
Again, the park quiets around this. Really trying to give Vigu here exactly what he needs to throw a strike.
The 1-1 is down the middle. It's fought off down the left field line, out of play for a foul ball. 1-2.
Yeah, Dowd hit that right there into the Wolverine bullpen. The Wolverines nervously watch on.
The 1-2 here from Vigu. Off speed. Spear thought it clipped the outside corner of the plate. Does not. Ump says just outside. 2-2. Vigu's got to bounce back. You think you have strike 3 in your pocket. The next pitch inside, and it clips the left leg of Dowd. He'll be awarded a free base. The 5th batter that Vigu has hit all year. And Michigan has struggled that lately. Against Toledo, they hit multiple batters in the first inning.
Yeah, again, first man up on base is never something, it's never how you want to set the tone for the game, especially with a pretty solid start last game that ultimately crumbled away in the 3rd inning, letting up, again, 7 runs yesterday.
That'll bring up Ethan Hedges, junior third baseman. First pitch down low, 1-0. Hedges out of Fountain Valley, California. 6'1", third baseman. Does pitch himself sometimes. The 1-1 is in there for a strike. Count evens up at 1-1. Dowd on first. No outs. The 1-1 from Vigu to Hedges. Fought off, out of play. Cars better watch out.
Yeah, and pedestrians too, looking like it's going to hit over into the student athletics area. Whizzing over the crowd nets here. USC is out swinging.
The 1-2 from Vigu. Popped up, foul territory. Over to take a look is Jeter Ibarra, the Wolverines first baseman. It goes out of play.
And that
the count remains 1-2.
And that one might have hit a car there. Again, fouling out, not getting exactly the contact they're looking for yet, but again, contact is still contact. They're seeing what Vigu is throwing, and they're swinging on it.
The third 1-2 from Vigu. Check swing. They appeal down to first base. He says he went. Dylan Vigu picks out his first strikeout of the night. Ethan Hedges is down swinging.
Great move there. Again, if you got that if you have that inclination that they swung, why not check? And he does. And again, the right move there. Maybe the home plate umpire isn't quite seeing it yet, but catcher always knows the truth.
Left fielder Adrian Lopez is batting third for these Trojans. The check over to first base by Vigu. Dowd back safely with a head-first dive. Just keep him honest. Don't let him get too big of a lead. These bases are worth a lot. You don't want the leadoff batter for these Trojans stealing a base. The first pitch by Vigu is swung and missed by Adrian Lopez, 0-1.
The outfield out there shifted quite far to the right and pretty far deep, looking for power here of Lopez.
The 0-1 lined right to Voigt at second. Back to Ibarra at first. Double play. Bang, bang. Mitch Voigt catches a scorching line drive. Catches Dowd a little bit off of his path. And back to Ibarra at first to double him up. Just like that, Dylan Vigu works out of a little bit of a first inning jam into the first inning break. We are still 0-0.
Absolutely. Voigt there caught Dowd ball watching there, leading off from the bag, looking to try to take second in case that got over the hand of Voigt. However, was able to get scooped up, make the timely, close double play there.
Ibarra was holding on Dowd on first base. Liner was absolutely rocketed right to the glove of Mitch Voigt, who was standing exactly where the ball ended up going. Didn't have to move a muscle. Caught the ball, fired it over to Ibarra. Easy 4-3 double play. And that'll bring up the Wolverines to bat. Pitching for the Trojans today, Caden Aoki, senior, pitched a season at Notre Dame before transferring to USC. Has a 4.79 ERA, 1-1 on the year. Pitched in 4 games with 20.2 innings, so averaging a little more than 5 innings in each of those games. Trojans looking for him to go far. Averaging over a strikeout an inning at 25 on the season. And doesn't walk very many guys, Lincoln. He's only walked 2 guys on the year, so it's the Wolverines certainly have a tough matchup today against this righty from California. What do the top of the order need to do? What does Benny Casillas, Jonathan Kim, and Mitch Voigt, who are due up here, what do they need to do against this pitcher in Aoki?
Well, I mean, they obviously want to throw him off his game as much as they can. Get a man on base here really sets the tone, because Michigan has kind of stacked their order with some of their best guys up first. Casillas up first, Kim also averaging 3.06. And then, of course, their big hitter, Voigt, averaging 4.09 out there, potentially cleaning up, maybe getting 1 or 2 guys from the bases to potentially tag home if he hits big.
Leading off for the Wolverines, the shortstop senior, Benny Casillas. And just like Dowd, he is from where the opposing school is located, from Los Angeles, California. The first pitch is fought off into right field. A sinking line drive finds the glove of Cade Higgins for the first out of the inning. 1 pitch, 1 away.
Yeah, outfield was shifted perfectly for that. Slightly to the right there, watching every angle. Not pretty far back, but a little bit away from the warning track, and again, able to run up and grab it.
Jonathan Kim due up second in the order, lefty, playing right field today. Played a little bit all over the diamond. First pitch outside, 1-0.
Kim steps out, steps back in, recollecting himself.
Aoki's 1-0, swung on and missed.
This is a big pitch here for Aoki. Could take 2 guys out in under a minute.
The 1-1 fought back, fouled into this netting behind home plate. Count goes to 1-2. 2-strike approach, Lincoln. Just try to get the bat on the ball, all right?
Absolutely. I mean, he's going to swing at anything he thinks he can hit.
The 1-2 off speed. Just a little outside. Aoki tried to freeze him. Kim didn't bite.
Yeah. Outfield here shifted to the left. Same. No one really on second. Most of the bag shifted there.
The 2-2 fouled back. Count will stay 2-2. Still 0-0 here in Ann Arbor. 1 out in the bottom of the first inning. Jonathan Kim out of Brookfield, Wisconsin. One of the most consistent hitters on these Wolverines thus far. Batting .306, started in 15 of the 17 games. The 2-2 grounder right to the second baseman, Covarrubias. Scoops, fires to first. 2 down.
Exactly. I mean, second baseman Covarrubias was right in the right spot for that, and that's what's really efficient about those shifts. These players, they study film. They know what's going on with where these hitters tend to hit, what they like to do early on in these games. As we see
Mitch Voigt steps to the plate. Number 55, potential MLB draft prospect this year, having a ridiculous start to the season, and he gets drilled in the right calf in the first pitch he sees. Iaquaniello fires a pitch right at the legs of Voigt. Takes the contact, falls to the ground. He'll get some tending to by the training staff, and he earned that base.
I mean, yeah, you get hit that hard with a pitch like that. Absolutely. I mean, again, they're afraid of Voigt out here. Obviously, 409 batting average is nothing to scoff at. He is dangerous, and they would much rather get him on first than have him score the opening points of the game.
Two down here in the bottom of the first. Voigt on first. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Jeter Ibarra, batting .288 on the season. Yet to hit his first home run, but he is slugging .409. On-base percentage is .356. Ibarra steps in as Voigt finally gets to take first base and hops around a little bit. Looks like he's all right. He'll run for himself.
Voigt there leading off a few paces, watching the pitching unfold.
First pitch from Iaquaniello is a little high and outside. Ball 1-0. Wolverines looking to strike first. Voigt generally very quick. Did just take a ball into the calf. Might be a little hesitant to turn on the burners. The 1-0. Clips the outside corner. Righty on lefty. Clips the outside corner. A fastball that had a little run away from the batter, Ibarra. 1-1. The 1-1 from Iaquaniello. Same pitch, same result. Another called strike. Ibarra down 1-2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
Chance with Voigt on bases here to potentially get more men on the bag.
Check over from Iaquaniello on Voigt. Voigt slides head first. He's still gingerly moving around. Hops up. Takes his lead one more time. 1-2. Iaquaniello to Ibarra. Lefty crowding the plate. The pitch popped up in between third base, left field, foul territory. Working over is the third baseman. Hedges, and he fends off the net and makes the catch with his left hand for the third out of the inning. That will retire the side. No hits, no errors, no runs, 1 man left on for these Wolverines. Voigt is still gingerly walking back to the dugout after 1. Trojans 0, Wolverines 0.
Sure hope that Voigt is okay for the Wolverines again, because he is a difference maker. But obviously now, Wolverines running back out onto the field, hoping to defend the next lineup for USC. Takeuchi is up to bat next for the USC Trojans. Hasn't played in too many games here, only 8 so far this season, batting .333. However, he's looking to add to his total amount of hits or runs. Only 7 runs on the year and only 12 hits. However, minimal games, still a lot of time to really make a name for himself in this USC lineup. Beautiful sunny day here in Ann Arbor. Very few wispy clouds in the sky rolling over. Of course, you're watching Michigan baseball against USC. This game was moved up a couple of hours due to inclement weather. However, you can't tell that at all right now. It's a beautiful day in Ann Arbor. Warm-up pitches now for Vigyu down on the mound. Wow. Takeuchi walks up to home plate.
Kevin Takeuchi, who is the DH today for Andy Stankowicz's Trojans. Steps up, righty against Vigu, the righty. The first pitch, low and outside, ball one.
Again, good look there. Shift coming in for Michigan. Next pitch comes in.
The 1-0 in there for a strike count, evens up at 1-1. Takeuchi out of San Diego, California. This USC team has a lot of players from that home state of California. The 1-1 off speed finds its way into the zone. Started at the front hip of Takeuchi, worked its way across the plate. 1-2. Vigu working quickly here, not even letting that pitch clock to get to 10. Same pitch, the 1-2, chopped to third, fired over to first. Good pick by Ibarra. Caruso to Ibarra. 6-3, 1 out here in the top of the second.
And Ibarra reaching across there, holding his foot on the first base, making a routine out there for the first out of the second inning for the Wolverines.
Vigu's 1-1 was a pitch that started at the front hip of Takeuchi, worked its way back. The 1-2 did the exact same thing. Takeuchi had to swing, rolled it over to the third baseman. Caruso made a nice backhanded play, fired to first. Count is 1-0 here to Carpentier. Now 2-0. The first two pitches missed to Dean Carpentier, the sophomore out of Huntington Beach, California.
Vigu hardly letting the clock go below double digits.
The 2-0 outside. Spear hesitates, wanted that one. Count is up to 3-0. Vigu, to avoid a walk, needs 3 straight strikes. But imagine Carpentier is taking here. The 3-0 takes right down the middle. 3-1.
Of course, the 3-1, great opportunity here for some magic from Vigu.
The 3-1 clips the outside corner of the plate. Carpentier didn't love it. Full count, 3-2, 1 out. Top of the second, still 0-0. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Dylan Vigu works his way back from 3-0. Strikes out Dean Carpentier, and there's 2 down in the second.
I mean, Vigu did exactly what he needed to do. He was down with 3 balls, needed 3 strikes, and got him. Listening to you, maybe.
Cade Higgins steps up. First pitch a little outside. Ball 1. Higgins out of Las Vegas, Nevada. The 1-0 is shot into left field, and that'll get down for extra bases. Higgins on his horse. Over to the ball is Colby Turner. Fires it in to Casillas, and Higgins is in at second with a stand-up double. The first hit of the day by either team. A little bit of a rally starter with 2 outs here for the Trojans.
First man on base for the Trojans. And again, shift there was more off to the right and was able to catch them moving in even further to the right, hitting it on the left side of the field. Not exactly close to the pole, but in that dead man's land.
The first pitch to Grudzalanek is popped up down the right field line. Tracking it is Kim, and he circles under it for the out, retiring the side. Vigu works out of a 2-out double as Grudzalanek flies out to right. That'll retire the side. Still Wolverine 0, Trojan 0. To the bottom of the second we go. Due up for Michigan, Caruso, Spear, and Rogers.
And if you're just joining us again, we are like to introduce, coming up this Wednesday is WCBN's Giving Blue Day. And I know you probably don't want to hear this spiel, but it really helps the organization out if you can donate any money. We do lots of road trips here for student broadcasting, and any little bit of money that if you're a longtime viewer, you feel like contributing goes a long way. If you do donate, thank you. And if you don't and you're just listening, that's always great too. Again, get you right back out to baseball here. Looking at USC warming up. Again, Aoki, the man on the mound.
Aoki hit Voigt in the first, but otherwise a clean inning.
Although the Michigan fans here might call that a little bit of a dirty play to keep Michigan's top batter out of the lineup.
Voigt still in the game in the second, so just an unfortunate hit by pitch.
Yes. Apologize for any kind of interference with the mics. It is quite windy here in Ann Arbor. But again, coming up, batting here for the Wolverines. Stepping up to the plate now, it's Caruso.
Cole Caruso, third baseman. He homered in yesterday's game against USC.
Caruso from Scottsdale, Arizona. Quite a flight away here, but playing for the Wolverines nonetheless.
First pitch grounded to the shortstop. Fired over to first out in the inning. One pitch, one out, just like the first inning. Aoki quickly gets Caruso out of here. The ground ball to Grudzelanek. Pretty routine. Fired over to Carpentier. No issues for the Trojans on the first pitch and out of the inning.
Again, great for Aoki with the Trojans really trying to keep their pitchers in for as long as they can. I mean, that's just baseball.
The 6-hole batter for the Wolverines is Matt Spear, catcher on the day. First pitch in there for a strike. The 0-1 from Aoki. Off speed, drops just below the zone.
Of course, Spear from much closer to USC, out of San Clemente, California, Woodbridge High School.
The 1-1 just misses. Count goes to 2-1. 2-1 to Spear from Aoki. Both pitchers moving quickly, fought off into the Wolverines' dugout. Count evens at 2-2. The 2-2 shot into right field towards the wall. Retreating back is Cade Higgins, and he circles under it for the out. 2 gone here in the bottom of the second. Still 0-0. Trojans and Wolverines.
Yeah, Higgins there did a little bit of a spin, kind of lost it for a second, however. Regained his eye on the ball and was able to make a pretty routine save, catch close to the warning track in right field. Next up to bat here is Rogers for the Wolverines.
Will Rogers, the DH on the day. First pitch to him, swung on, chopped to the pitcher. Aoki fields it cleanly, fires a strike to first for the out. Aoki, another quick inning here in Ann Arbor. Through 2, still scoreless. Only 1 hit on the day between both teams. 0-0.
Extremely fast inning. We can't really stress that enough for those USC Trojans. In and out, what was that, 6, 7 pitches? Like, it wasn't that much. So the Wolverines return out to play some defense here, trying to keep the score to what it is now, 0-0 between USC and Michigan here in Ann Arbor. The second of the first home series for the Wolverines here in Ann Arbor. Michigan lost yesterday 7-4. However, scoring 4 runs, 1 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, and USC not scoring since basically the first half of that game. So in just game time, more of a drought there in the Wolverines. Looking to bat now for USC is number 7, Covarrubias, hitting .305 on the year so far. Solid roll for the second baseman.
Abri Covarrubias out of Anaheim, California, 6 foot 187 sophomore. Started almost every game last year for the Trojans, slashing .232, .291, .262.
And so far this year, an improvement, like I said, with .305 on the year, starting all 17 games for the Trojans. Hoping to make an impact here.
Covarrubias batting 8th for these Trojans. The first pitch from Vigu, fouled down the right field line. 0-1. Vigu at 93 miles an hour. Good amount of velocity out of a Saturday pitcher in the Big Ten. The 0-1 in there for a strike. Fastball right by Covarrubias. Quickly in an 0-2 hole. Working quickly as Vigu. Pitch clock's at 13, and he already fires slider outside. Covarrubias takes 1-2. Pitch clock starts at 20 with no one on base here in college, and Dylan Vigu is rarely letting that number get to single digits. The 1-2 slider, front hip fouled down the left field line. Count will remain 1-2. We're seeing Vigu use that front hip slider to get hitters to roll over down the third base line, get some easy ground outs and some swings and misses, and then he can use that slider starting in the middle, working away. The 1-2 grounded to the first baseman, Ibarra. Fields flips right back to Vigu for the first out of the inning. One down here in the top of the third. Still 0-0 USC and Michigan.
Yeah, Vigu there, maybe lucky number 13 for him, throwing it pretty consistently at that mark on the pitch clock. Very windy day out here. Players losing hats out there. Third baseman Caruso just lost his, leading to a little bit of a delay there as we see Elliott up to bat.
John Elliott, the catcher for USC today, batting .286 on the season, .805 OPS. Gets on base a lot more than he gets a hit. The 1-0 is fouled back. Count is 1-1. The 1-1 to Elliott inside. Elliott has to scoot out of the way to avoid being hit in the shins. Count goes to 2-1.
As you mentioned, Elliott gets on base a lot more than he scores, and that could be really valuable as he's at the end of the order here, and Dowd can come back up.
The pitch is fired down the left field line, a rocket, but it hooks foul. Vigu catches a little bit of a break on that 2-1. Count goes to 2-2. It's a hard-earned foul ball for Elliott. Vigu right back up there. The 2-2. Misses outside. Good take by John Elliott. It's a tough take as a righty on righty. 84-mile-an-hour slider. Now the count has run full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on here in the top of the third. The pitch from Vigu. Fouled off of Elliott's own feet. We'll do it again.
Clinging on the life there, Elliott. Swinging at anything that he thinks might be over the plate, even if it isn't maybe the best look for him. But again, he's gotten some good looks. A lot of power there on that drive that landed squarely in the Wolverines' bullpen.
The 3-2. Inside. The 9-hole draws a walk for the USC. Flips the lineup card back over to the top for Braden Dowd. who was hit in the first inning after a little bit of a battle with Vigu. With a man on, 1 out, Braden Dowd steps up to the plate. First pitch from Vigu. Out of the stretch is rocketed to center field. Tracking back is Roush, and he circles under it and makes the catch. Having to return to first is Elliott. 1 pitch, an out, 2 away for Vigu here in the top of the third. That was a shot, though, Lincoln.
Absolutely. I mean, first pitch, trying to make it fast, trying to catch Dowd off guard, and yet he's able to try to sink that as far as he can, however, not quite far enough to get over the wall here.
Ethan Hedges up to the plate. First pitch outside, 1-0. In the first inning, he struck out the hands of Vigu. Round 2 for the junior Ethan Hedges, the third baseman today for these Trojans. Second pitch a little bit low. Count is 1-1. Elliott taking a short lead off first base. The pitch from Vigu outside, but it's swung on. A little bit of a check swing. The home plate ump says he went. Count goes to 1-2. 2 gone here in the top of the third. John Elliott on first after taking a 1-out walk. Vigu looking to get out of his third scoreless inning. It's a little bit of a pitcher's duel thus far here at Raymond James Stadium. Checking on the runner is Vigu. Elliott was closer than he wanted to be with that pickoff attempt. Gets back safely, though. We'll do the 1-2 again.
Yeah, sliding back there, reaching with everything he can just to stay in. Tries it again.
A second check over to the runner.
Not taking any chances. Vigu now lining up, letting the clock wind down lower than he has been today.
Pitch. Fouled off down the right field line. Working towards the parking lot. Finds concrete rather than a car. Sure, everyone with a car over there breathes a sigh of relief. We'll do the 1-2 again. 2 gone here in the top of the third inning. Very effectively is Vigu. Only 38 pitches on the day. The 1-2 is low. Count evens up at 2-2. 2 gone here. 39 pitches. A very, very efficient under that magic number 15 an inning. That's what I always think about as a pitcher. You want to be under that 15 an inning threshold if you want to get deep into the game. That allows you to get 6-7 innings under your belt. The 2-2 front hip slider. Vigu was celebrating off the mound as he thought it was a strike 3. Did not get the call. Has to regroup now. Full count. 2 outs. John Elliott will be in motion from first base.
He leads off. Shift out to the right.
The 3-2 from Vigu. Fouled back into the parking lot towards the intramural sports building here at the University of Michigan. We'll do that all over again. The full count inside. Vigu thought he had him 3 pitches ago on a 2-2 pitch. Instead, Hedges draws a walk and wins round 2 with Vigu. Now runners on first and second with 2 outs here in the top of the third. And that'll bring up Adrian Lopez, who lined into a double play to Mitch Voigt in the first inning. Out to the mound now for the Wolverines is the pitching coach to check on Vigu. Calm him down. He thought he had out number 3, strike number 3. Instead, no, he's in a little bit of a jam. Runners on first and second.
Routine check in there, making sure that their starter can keep this scoreless here. 2 runners on, Elliott on second, and Hedges on first. 2 outs in this inning. One more, of course, to make sure this game stays scoreless as of yet. The top of the 3rd here in Ann Arbor. Beautiful day. The players return out to their respective bases. Leaves Vigu alone on the mound to stare down Lopez for USC.
Still no runs between either team here in the top of the 3rd. 2 gone. Elliott on second. Hedges on first. First pitch from Vigu to Lopez, the left fielder today for the Trojans, is outside. 1-0. Vigu needs to find his rhythm that he had in those first 2 innings.
Both runners on bases with at least a 3-stride layoff there.
Second pitch, again, outside. Vigu staying away from Lopez. He's hitting .271 on the year. .380 on base percentage. Should a ball find a gap? Hedges can run. The 2-0 is down low. 3-0. Vigu running into a little bit of trouble here.
He's a ball away from making this bases loaded for USC, making it a very dicey situation for the Wolverines.
The 3-0. Clips the outside corner. Nice frame job by Matt Spear. 3-1. He's worked back from 3-0 before.
See if he can do it again here, though this time slightly higher stakes for the Wolverines.
The 3-1. In there for a strike. A lot of hesitancy from these pitchers and batters now as Lopez thought that was ball 4. Instead, it's turned to a full count. 3-2, 2 outs. Runners will be in motion. Vigu checks his little wristband that has the signs from Spear. Wind ruffling his jersey. The 3-2. In there for a called strike 3. Dylan Vigu works out of a jam, bounces back from a rough call with a front hip slider. Caught Lopez watching. Still scoreless here as we move into the bottom of the 3rd inning. A pitcher's duel. No hits. 2 men left on. No runs here for the Trojans in the top of the 3rd. And the Wolverines looking to take the lead.
Great way there for Vigu to get his confidence back going into when he goes back into the 4th, as he thought he had already retired them right before, John Elliott landed on base and was able to not let some uncertainty there cloud any of his performance yet. Of course, Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe now playing in the stadium as the crowd, of course, settles in to watch Wolverines up to bat. Up next for Michigan is Turner, who sits towards the back end of the order at 8.
Colby Turner hit a homer yesterday in that attempted comeback, that failed comeback against USC. That 7-4 loss. 0-0 in the 3rd. Colby Turner playing left field will start things off for Michigan.
Up after Turner is, of course, A.J. Roush, and then back up to Casillas. We'll see if that order gets extended at all by any on-base action or homers for the Wolverines.
Turner, a transfer from San Diego State. He's a sophomore this year, so he spent last year down in San Diego playing for the Aztecs. He's used to that Southern California weather that these same Trojans are used to. It's a windy day, though, here in Ann Arbor. We're getting a lot of wind up here in the press box. Ball flying out, have wind hurting them, so wind pushing back towards home plate. The first pitch, though, rocketed to left. High drive, clears the high wall just like yesterday. Colby Turner jumps on the first pitch from Caden Aoki, and the Wolverines take a 1-0 lead. Turner skipping his way to home plate. An absolute bomb, no doubter. Colby Turner, his 3rd home run of the year, puts the Wolverines on the board.
And you had mentioned there, Theo, the wind might be an issue. However, not for Colby Turner. Able to get that over the tallest part of the wall there for the Wolverines to start off scoring here at Ann Arbor this afternoon.
First pitch to A.J. Rauch, called a strike. Aoki just hung an off-speed pitch right to Turner. Turner did not hesitate. Second pitch to Rauch is outside. Count evens up at 1-1. Wolverines see something with this first pitch swinging here, Lincoln. They're jumping on Aoki right away, and it's resulted in a lot of outs in the first few innings, but of course Aoki trying to get over the plate. This one, a bunt by Rauch, fielded by Aoki with the bare hand, fires to first for the out. Nice play by Aoki as Rauch trying to bunt for a base hit.
Almost got that there. A little bit too much bounce on the off the bat there for Rauch, and easy for Aoki to scoop up. A little bit of a close race there, however, still fairly routine for these Trojans.
Rauch trying to bunt down the third base line as right-handed pitchers tend to fall towards first base with their delivery. First pitch to Casillas is outside, but Aoki got there and threw a strike to first. That's not an easy thing for a pitcher to do. Often a very underrated aspect of a pitcher's game is fielding their position. Second pitch is low. 2-0. Casillas 0 for 1 on the day. The 2-0 curveball falls in for a strike. Had a fly out in the first, did Casillas. And that was a 2-1 count. 1-0 Michigan. A shot from Casillas down the right field line, slicing into the corner, will bounce down for a base hit off the wall. Rounding into second, and with the stand-up double is Benny Casillas. Gives a little celebration to the dugout. Michigan starting to figure out Caden Aoki after a pretty flawless first 2 innings. Now a runner on second, a run already in thanks to the home run off the bat of Colby Turner. And that'll bring up Jonathan Kim.
Great effort there by Casillas, top hitter for the Trojan. And again, or not Trojans, excuse me, the Wolverines. Sorry about that. He has really been such a great player. I was hoping to maybe give them some wiggle room here. There's only 1 out on the board.
First pitch just misses from Aoki to Kim. Junior in right field today. The 1-0, a little inside. Both those pitches very close. Kim gets the better outcome of both of them. 2-0 here. Casillas on second. Staring down the signs that Elliott does give Aoki. Dancing on his lead from second. Off speed, changeup, foul down the first base line by Kim. Count goes to 2-1. The run already in here in the 3rd inning.
Wind dying down for a brief moment here. Maybe a great opportunity here for Kim to get every little bit of extra force he can behind the bat and against the ball.
The 2-1 fouled back over our heads towards Yost Arena, the ice hockey rink here in Ann Arbor. Count evens up at 2-2.
I mean, great venues all around. We're viewing the Chrysler Center and the big house from where we're sitting, overlooking home plate.
The 2-2, chop to second, charging, and a play at first, very, very close. Covarrubias charged the ball. He first went back, then charged it, scooped it up, fired over to Carpentier on the play. Casillas did slide over to third as you're taught as a base runner. If there's a ground ball to the right side and you're on second base, get to third. With 2 outs, Casillas will score with any hit.
Great opportunity here for Voigt, one of Michigan's main man for the Wolverines to try to get something to happen.
First pitch to Voigt. Swing and a miss.
And again there, the Wolverines going for that first pitch like they've done, which got Elliott his homer to open up the scoring here earlier this inning.
A shot from Voigt into left field, slicing down, and it falls for a base hit. Casillas scores. Voigt motoring into second with a head-first slide, beats the throw from Lopez. And Mitch Voigt, after being hit in the calf in the first inning, finds a head-first sliding double in the third, extending the Wolverine lead to 2-0. After the Colby Turner home run, Mitch Voigt drives in Casillas, and he'll stand on second as Jeter Ibarra steps up to the plate.
And great look in a similar area to where Elliott hit his homer, except of course lands inbounds here, just out of the reach of the shift. And of course that shift is now moving a little bit more towards that left field.
Jeter Ibarra, big lefty, takes first pitch, just misses. Looks like it was a little bit inside.
Voigt with the quite large leadoff on the first play, retreats back and then extends again. Aoki eyeing him up before switching his head.
Aoki fires to Ibarra. A routine fly ball lifted into left field. Lopez hardly had to move, makes the catch, retires the side, but not before the Wolverines get two. After 3 innings, it's 2-0 Michigan, thanks to Colby Turner, Benny Casillas, and Mitch Voigt.
Yeah. Going into the fourth here, Wolverines hoping to keep a clean slate here for Vignew. He returns to the mound. Of course, Wolverines quick to get back out there, trying to make this game. And these outs go as fast as possible. On deck here, warming up, swinging his bat, is Casillas Takeuchi for the Trojans. Beautiful day here in Ann Arbor. Quite windy, as we've mentioned a couple of times. Apologize for any disturbances with that. However, small clouds moving in on this game, moved 2 hours earlier for fear of rain coming later in our Ann Arbor. However, great game, still a great turnout here in Ann Arbor for the Wolverines. Raymond James.
Vignew, through 3 innings, only allowed 1 hit, has walked 2, and hit a batter. 52 pitches. A little more got tacked on at the end of that third after that call that Vignew thought the home plate umpire Jason Stidham missed, but then Vignew got rewarded with a full count, caught looking strikeout 1 batter later to bounce back. So through 3, 52 pitches, trying to get through maybe 5 for Tracy Smith's Wolverines. And stepping up to the plate is the designated hitter, Kevin Takeuchi. First pitch, misses, ball 1.
Up high there for Vignew, maybe trying to dispel that kind of first swing energy.
Second pitch, grounded to the shortstop, Casillas, backhand, fires to first, caught by Ibarra, 1 gone. Nice 6-3 put out. Routine play, but it's still a tough ground ball to your backhand side as a shortstop, and then a long throw. Vignew backed up with some pretty good defense thus far.
Straight as an arrow throw there for Casillas. Fighting the wind here. Again, keep saying this, but it's always a big issue.
Carpentier steps up, swings at the first pitch, fouls down the right field line over the Trojans bullpen. Out of play.
Skipping across the parking lot right next to us here.
The 0-1, just a little outside. Count evens up at 1-1. A 93-mile-an-hour fastball tried to clip the outside edge, couldn't. The 1-1 in there for a strike. Carpentier menacing 6'3", 205 sophomore. Big above that plate. That pitch was right at the knees for strike number 2. Quickly the 1-2. Slider popped up. It'll work its way out of play. That same slider that clips the zone. That one did hit off a car, but that same slider, Lincoln, that Vigu seems to be using, he's been sticking with it, right? There's been no hard contact by these Trojans, and he's gotten some frozen strike 3 calls. What about that pitch makes it so effective?
I mean, really, it's just kind of, simple enough it's hard to hit, but it's really unpredictable.
Same pitch, grounded to Casillas one more time. Fires to Ibarra. Got him at first. 2 outs, both 6-3 putouts here in the 4th inning. 2 gone. Stepping up is Cade Higgins, who is 1 for 1, had the first hit of the ball game, and this far the only hit for the Trojans. First pitch just a little bit outside as the arm side run of Vigu's fastball worked its way outside of the zone. The 1-0 bounced into Higgins' own shin, and then caught by Spear, but that's a foul ball. 1-1, 2 away, 2-0 Michigan in the top of the 4th inning in Ann Arbor. The 1-1 clips the outside corner for a strike. Quickly, it's 1-2 on Higgins. He's hitting .286 on the season. Vigu looking to get out of a 1-2-3 inning. The pitch popped up down the left field line. Both Caruso and Turner go over and take a look. It goes into the Wolverines bullpen, out of play.
Vigu's pitches here dipping a little bit in speed, down to 85 there. He's able to get a little bit more contact, but again, fouled out off into the bullpen.
The 1-2 swung on and foul tipped towards the Trojan dugout. Just missed the on-deck hitter, Grubzalanek. We'll do the 1-2 one more time. Vigu looking down at his wristband, gets the pitch, fires home, just misses outside. 2-2.
Vigu there now, climbing up close to 60 pitches in these 4 innings.
The 2-2, shot to third, grabbed quickly by Caruso, fires to Ibarra. Ball never left the infield, and Dylan Vigu is through 4, only allowing 1 hit on the day. Trojans still scoreless. 2-0 Michigan as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Due up for the Wolverines should be Caruso, then Spear and Rogers looking to add on to this 2-0 lead.
Michigan has already come back around to the middle of their batting order and are looking to extend their lead here going into the bottom of the 4th. It's the Dizzy Race mini game rolls out here. We'd like to tell you a little bit, of course, about our Giving Blue Day, which is this Wednesday for WCBN Sports. We are a student-based broadcasting group here at the University of Michigan, and for any away trips, for any of our great quality content covering football, basketball, hockey, anything like that, which are so great and give many of us such great experience. Any little bit of money that you can give goes a long way. And if you can't and you're just listening along, thanks for being here and tuning in for WCBN's coverage of U of M against USC. Aoki on the mound, warming up again. We said Caruso up to bat Wind is dying down a little bit here. Was much more of a problem earlier on for these players and for our sound equipment. However, seems much more stagnant now.
Caruso, Wolverines' third baseman, up to the plate. Senior from USC Upstate. University of South Carolina Upstate, swings at the first pitch, pops it up into right center field, now drifting over to right field. Under it is the right fielder Higgins, has to take a few steps in, makes the routine catch. One pitch, one down here for Aoki.
Kind of in response here to what we've seen with some of the pitches falling close down the third base line, the shift has gotten a little bit more dramatic, trying to cover no man's land out there.
The catcher, Matt Spear, takes the first pitch for a ball. 0 for 1 on the day is Spear. The 1-0 in there for a strike on the inside corner of the plate. Count evens up at 1-1. 1-1 swung on and missed. 84 miles an hour up in the zone. Spear couldn't catch up.
Was confident about that, looking down the line to see where it was going, but however, the pitch was caught behind him.
The 1-2 off speed falls at the back foot of Spear for ball 2. Little back foot curveball. Count evens up at 2-2. 2-2 from Aoki to Spear, launched into right, but the wind is keeping this one in the park. A little premature there on my part. It flew off the bat, but Higgins right under it as it looked like it might have had the legs. Higgins circles under it for out number 2. 2 flyouts to Cade Higgins in right.
I mean, I don't blame you at all. That looked real promising the second that came off the bat. However, it got a little bit too much height, not enough distance, and the wind was able to shoot over some of the roofs and catch it, slow it down.
Rogers now swings at the first pitch, a slicing line drive again to Higgins. Cade Higgins, I don't know if you can get MVP playing defensive right field, but 3 routine flyouts all to him, and Aoki fires a quick 1-2-3 inning for USC. To the top of the 5th we go. No hits, no runs, no errors, no men left on, excuse me. Big U takes them out one more time. Still 2-0 Wolverines.
Wolverines there getting a couple of pop flies out. However, strategy they're using is to hit on that first pitch, which again seems to be working pretty well to get some contact. Not quite enough to get it over the wall here, but enough to keep us guessing at least and keep it a good, entertaining game of baseball. As we said, 2-0 as we move into the 5th inning. Vigu steps back up on the mound. Beautiful day here in Ann Arbor. Windy. Game moved 2 hours earlier, but you can't tell that at all with the fan turnout and how it looks. Grudzelanek up to bat for the Trojans next. Take some practice swings close to the dugout.
Bryce Martin, Grudzelanek, certainly a mouthful. Thankfully USC doesn't have their names on the back of their jerseys. If they did, I don't think he'd be able to fit his.
Yeah, might increase the printing cost there for the whole team.
But out of San Diego, California, he's a redshirt junior. Went to Torrey Pines High School and then started his career at UCLA. He was drafted last year in the 20th round by the Toronto Blue Jays, but returned to college to play at USC. It's his 3rd season at USC. He redshirted his first at UCLA, so a little commit to UCLA and then cross rivalry transfer, and now in his playing days at USC.
With both teams in the Big Ten now, makes it much more interesting.
Hitting .235 on the year, but he's 0 for 1 today. First pitch in there, first strike. Vigu keeps pumping gas into the zone. Fastball at 92 miles an hour. The 0-1 chopped to third. Caruso charging. Good play to Ibarra. Quick out for Vigu as Caruso and Casillas have fielded ground balls quite effectively here today.
Yeah, very quick catch and release there by Caruso again. That at bat, sorry, my words are just escaping me right now. But the
Vigu pitches to Covarrubias. Attempted to bunt, but it fouled back behind home plate. We'll do it again. Caruso now inside the third base line at third. Covarrubias squares up like he's going to hit, and this time he does take a hack. Instead of bunting, fouls it back into the parking lot one more time. Quickly, it's 0-2. One gone here in the top of the fifth. 2-0 Wolverines.
Sorry.
The 0-2 foul down the third base line. Trojans still looking for their second hit of the ball game. Haven't moved a player past second base. That was just Higgins' double in the second inning. The 0-2 popped high up in the air with swirling wind. This could be a tough play because Casillas circles under it in front of second base, and the shortstop makes the play. 2 gone here in the fifth inning. Vigu is working through this Trojan lineup like it's nothing, only at 68 pitches.
Lineup here going pretty fast. A lot of contact on Vigu's pitches. However, none of them have quite had the distance.
John Elliott fouls the first pitch back and out of play. 0-1. And Vigu only has 3 strikeouts on the day through 4 2/3 innings. So not an awful number, but he's pitching to contact, pitching to trust his defense. Another foul back by Elliott. It seems to be working. And now 74 pitches with 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the fifth inning. 0-2 to Elliott, who walked his first time up. From the windup, Vigu pitches outside, 94 miles an hour. Might be a game high for him. Finding a little extra gas in that fifth. Pitching out of the windup like he has for most of this game as there are no runners on. Slider misses outside, bounces all the way to the backstop. 2-2 here, 2 gone. It's John Elliott, freshman catcher.
New ball out there for Vigu. However, still looking to secure Michigan's inning here.
The 2-2 fouled back and out of play. Do it again.
90-mile-an-hour pitch there for Vigu. Sound effects going off in the stadium. Players waiting restlessly, a little bit back from the bases, hoping to see how far he swings this.
The 2-2 cut on and miss. Elliott comes up empty, and Vigu works through a quick 1-2-3 inning in the fifth, pitching a masterpiece. Still only allowing 1 hit, but no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on. In the top of the fifth for the Trojans, we go to the bottom of the fifth. Halfway through this ball game, it's 2-0 Michigan.
And lots of, not a lot of strikes here so far. We've seen, we had 3 for Vigu, well, now 4, excuse me. And Aoki, 0 so far, with much of the work being done by Higgins out in the right field. And for Michigan, at least for their third baseman Caruso. Of course, USC returns now to the field. Warm-ups, throwing. Gray uniforms, red hats, yellow trim. Pretty standard away kit for USC. Games going on the Jumbotron here. Ann Arbor. Beautiful day. Wind has died down quite a bit, which was a big issue for a lot of those high balls that might have escaped the fences on a less windy day on both sides here. Up to bat here for Michigan is Turner. Colby Turner falls 8th in the lineup, batting .207 for the year so far. However, Aoki's been a little bit shaky so far, letting up 2 runs as we enter the bottom of the 5th.
Still a very good performance, though, out of the senior. Get through 5 innings, 2 runs. He hasn't gotten through 5 yet, but if you get through 5, 2 runs, that's a quality start for the Saturday pitcher in college. The number 2 guy for most coaches. Stankiewicz is not disappointed with this performance from Aoki. The first pitch to Turner after homering earlier, tries to bunt his way for a hit. Bunts it foul and is now grasping his finger. Might have missed the bat and hit the finger on the bunt. But nevertheless, it's 0-1, but he'll get checked on by the athletic trainer here.
Sorry about that comment there on Aoki, but I guess I meant more in terms of compared to Vigu there, who has kept it clean so far. Aoki is pitching very well. 2 runs is great for any team. And however, the offensive capabilities of USC have not quite been showing. Of course, scoreless so far. Still a lot left to play, of course. Bottom of the 5th with the Wolverines up. Turner, of course, still getting his hand looked at there. Looks to replacing his gloves right now. Magic spray as he returns out to home plate.
Turner now with 3 home runs on the season as he hit his 3rd in the 3rd inning here today. Put the Wolverines up 1-0. They tacked 1 more on thanks to a Mitch Voigt double. And he steps back into the box, into the trench of turf here at Raymond James Stadium, and lines the ball right to the second baseman, Covarrubias, for the Trojans for an out. 1 gone here in the bottom of the 5th. Good exit velocity, bad location. Not much you can do about that as a hitter.
Absolutely. You just hope that that shift is in the wrong direction, or maybe that your man has lost focus. However, second baseman, Covarrubias.
Roush had a leadoff homer against Toledo on Tuesday. Chops a ball. Doesn't even get halfway to third base, but spins foul. He'll do it again. He tried to bunt for a base hit in the 3rd and was thrown out on a nice play by Aoki. 0-1 now to A.J. Roush, the senior center fielder. The pitch, shot to 3rd, gloved on the ground by Hedges, fires over to first in time for Carpentier. Hedges thought he caught it, turned to the third base ump to say, I caught it, still fired it over in time, just in case he didn't. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 5th, and that'll flip the lineup card back over to Benny Casillas. Reached earlier in the game and scored the 2nd run for Michigan.
Yeah, definitely better safe than sorry play there.
Had a double in the 3rd. Ended up scoring after moving over on a ground ball out and then scoring on Mitch Voigt's double. First pitch is low for a ball. The 1-0 from Aoki. Also low. 2-0.
Aoki still pretty low on the pitch count here. Only up to 47. as he looks to stay in this game for as long as possible.
The 2-0 in their first strike. Count goes to 2-1. Casillas taking the first 3 pitches, maybe trying to up that pitch count like you mentioned, Lincoln.
Yeah, buy the rest of his lineup some time.
Curveball shot to the second baseman, Covarrubias. Fields it on one knee, stands up, fires over to Carpentier for the out. Again, Aoki pitches a quick 1-2-3 inning. Outside of that third, really excellent work. Hasn't allowed a hit outside of that third inning, actually. Through 5, 2-0 Wolverines. Vigou struts out to the mound one more time for the 6th. Great performance thus far by both starting pitchers. A little bit of a pitcher's duel. Michigan up 2-0.
Yeah, Michigan's offensive capabilities coming in very well here. Up here for USC as we're changing orders here. Lineup switch and players come out. I believe should be, actually not sure right now, sorry about that comment, went nowhere on my part. Michigan hoping to keep that shiny 0 on their side, on USC's side of the score sheet here. They warm up with some catches, some long throws there in outfield, training for some powerful hitting here from USC as Dowd struts up towards the plate and Michigan's outfield sets itself. Dowd, of course, the leadoff man, averaging .306, started all 17 games for USC.
Dowd swings at the first pitch and cracks a single into center field in front of A.J. Roush. Fields, he gets the ball quickly back in, but Braden Dowd been on twice now as he was hit by a pitch in the first. Now a line drive single around the head of Vigou for the second hit for the Trojans, and maybe a little kickstart to this offense. In steps Ethan Hedges, who is the Trojans' best hitter this season, hitting .379 with a .727 slugging. Really has a knack for those extra base hits. Has 5 homers, 2 triples, and 4 doubles on the season. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Vigou likely pitching a little bit around him, trying to get him to bite.
And exactly, Vigou's up there in his pitch count at 79 now.
Already walked Hedges once today. The second pitch in there for a strike. Top of the 6th, still 2-0 Wolverines. Dowd on first. Takes his lead.
Great spot here for the Trojans to get more men on base.
Vigou fires home. Hedges rolls over and chops one foul. That off-speed pitch getting the Trojans out in front, rolling over the pitch. That's a double play pitch if I've ever seen one, with a quickster on first, quick batter at the plate, a chopping pitch that goes to the third baseman is an easy 5-4-3 double play. You can see the strategy here by the Wolverines. Vigou tries the same pitch just like that. Chop to third, to second for 1, over to first for 2. 5-4-3. Wolverines snag 2 quick outs for the price of 1. And Vigou now 2 outs here in the 6th. Base is empty.
Excellent description there, of course. Michigan with probably USC's highest likelihood of scoring players. 1 man on, no out. Turn this into a great situation here for Vigou to close out the inning.
No one on base. Now for Adrian Lopez. Steps up to the plate. 0 for 2 on the day. First 2 pitches both missed for balls. 2-0 to Lopez. 92-mile-an-hour fastball missing outside. The pitch is fouled, backing out of play.
Once again,
2-1.
Once again, landing out in the parking lot. Real loud crack, metallic cling, but not in the direction that he wants it.
The 2-1 hits Lopez on the back. Second hit batter for Vigu today. Awards Lopez a base. 5 2/3 innings so far for Vigu. We'll see if Tracy Smith lets him work through 6. He's pitched scoreless thus far, only 2 hits. I got to imagine he'll let him try to get out of this one himself. But with this pitch count rising up there, 87 pitches, this might be the last batter of the day for Dylan Vigu.
Absolutely. You want to make sure that he's not straining himself too much, that he can come back and play next week.
First pitch inside, ball 1. Takeuchi at the plate for the Trojans. The DH today, although he plays all over the diamond. The 1-0 is shot into center field for a base hit. Roush grabs it, tries to fire to third. It's cut off by Casillas, and there are runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Takeuchi with a hard line drive single to center, and there is action in the Wolverines bullpen. Vigu might get one more batter. It looks like the pitcher in the bullpen isn't quite ready, so he'll face Dean Carpentier.
Casillas there, when attempting to catch the ball thrown from the outfield, skipped under his glove and was able to grab it again, but that almost, if Lopez wasn't going for the slide there.
Just like I predicted, there is a mound visit now. Doesn't look like it is Tracy Smith, so maybe just a little talk to Vigu, giving him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he can work through this jam. Runners on the corners, 2 gone. Looks like it's Brock Hunsinger, the pitching coach here for the Wolverines. Unless it's Tracy Smith, it's probably not a pitching change. In the bullpen for Michigan warming up is Cade Connolly. Pitched very effectively on Tuesday against Toledo. Connolly, the lefty, probably not going to exercise him here against Carpentier, who is a righty.
That'd be playing too much into this delicate situation here as the Wolverines try to close out the 5th without letting up any runs. Keep it scoreless for the Trojans. Runners on 1st and 3rd. 2 outs. One wrong move for either side in this game becomes much more interesting.
Carpentier able to take the lead with 1 swing of the bat here in the top of the 6th. The pitch, shot down the left field line, hooking foul. Misses the bullpen where Connolly is warming up. Hard contact by Carpentier results in strike number 1.
Got Connolly looking at the batting box 2, watching in on this for a moment there.
The 0-1 outside off-speed pitch misses. Ball number 1. Vigu likes that front hip slider, but the issue is if you hang that pitch, you can get under that as a hitter and take it for a long way. This one, a fastball up in the zone, cut on and missed. 1-2 to Carpentier. Vigu 1 strike away from getting through 6 scoreless innings. 1-2, runners on the corners. Takeuchi at first, Hedges at third. The pitch outside. Count runs to 2-2.
Vigu throwing near 90 as he reaches 90 pitches on the day so far. At the bottom, or excuse me, the top of the 6th. As he hopes to keep this game.
The 2-2. Chopped down the third base line, but foul. We'll do it one more time. Vigu trying to get out of a jam. I didn't mind that high fastball. Got Carpentier swinging the first time. I wouldn't hate him going back to that one more time. So the outfield is shaded to the right for maybe a quicker pitch. Instead goes with the off speed. Carpentier was thinking what I was thinking, but a swing and a miss as Vigu gets Carpentier out in front on a slider. Strike 3, and Dylan Vigu with one of the performances of the year so far. USC scoreless through 6, only 3 hits. They leave 2 runners stranded after a 2-hit inning, and Dylan Vigu, quite the performance, quite the afternoon. 6 scoreless as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Still 2-0 Wolverines.
Absolutely. Vigu, excellent clinic here in this game where there's 2 excellent pitchers out there. Of course, Iaquaniello now warming up on the mound. His pitch count much lower than Vigu's, however, with Michigan having 2 runs up on him. Still excellent performance. No strikeouts yet. A lot of work done by the outfielders. Still, though, hoping to keep his USC Trojans into this game. Wind has died down quite significantly, although big system of clouds is rolling in. Much more overcast than it was merely minutes ago.
Aoki still on the mound here for the Trojans, only at 51 pitches heading into the 6th inning. Very, very efficient. Wolverines haven't been able to get much of anything going outside of the 3rd inning. All 3 of their hits came then. But Aoki in line for the loss should things continue, which is a little bit of a ridiculous stat, I'm not going to lie. He's pitched a very effective game. 5 scoreless innings thus far, 2 earned runs. But his offense unable to help him out. Stepping up is Jonathan Kim. Coming into the game was batting above 300, 306. 19 hits, 21 strikeouts, and 6 walks. The first pitch from Aoki to Kim. Swung on and popped up down the 3rd baseline into the Michigan bullpen for a foul ball.
Michigan's catcher in training there, looking to see if he could snag the pop fly. Did not get it. However, the catcher for USC was, while warming up, was throwing pitches to second, looking for potential runners moving forward.
The 0-1 called a strike, was a little high there. Nevertheless, Aoki gets the call. Kim has grounded out to second in both of his plate appearances. The 0-2. Shot down the right field line, hooking, foul. 0-2, 0 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. The Wolverines still lead 2-0.
Close effort there. Not much attention for foul balls in the USC bullpen until now.
The 0-2 off speed slides low in the dirt, or the rubber, I should say. Ball 1.
Yeah, here at Michigan, all turf field, not the most popular among players.
The 1-2 sliced into right field. Under it is Higgins, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Higgins been busy today. A lot of routine plays, though. Jonathan Kim 0 for 3 on the day. Trots back to the dugout, but up steps Mitch Voigt. Voigt hit by a pitch in the 1st and then an RBI double in the 2nd. Batting .418 on the year. It's ridiculous. And the first pitch he jumps on. Shoots one into the left center field gap. Voigt is on his horse. Ball goes to the wall. Voigt at second. Round second. Thinks about heading to third. Then trots back for a stand-up double. Swings his hips in celebration. Mitch Voigt continues to show why he is a top-tier MLB prospect. Stands up at second with a 1-out double. Leaves a duck on base for Jeter Ibarra to drive him home.
I mean, again, swinging on that first opportunity he sees, skips across left field. Great look there. And catchers practice thrown to second might come into play here.
First pitch inside to Ibarra. 0 for 2 on the day. Looking to pick up an RBI. Has 11 on the season. The 1-0. Inside. As a cloud moves over the field here at Raymond James. 2-0 to Jeter Ibarra. The first baseman today. The pitch. Off-speed changeup. Cut on and fouled back behind the plate. Count moves to 2-1.
Wind picking up again here as these clouds move in. Caused a little bit of an issue earlier in the game. See if it makes any impact now.
The 2-1 shot into center. Moving in on it is the center fielder Dowd. Circles under it, 4 and out. 2 away here in the 6th. Voit unable to move up at Raymond Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor.
Caruso up to bat now. Runner on second is Voit. Of course, leading off here, second baseman playing a little bit deep, looking for any long balls here, giving Voit some more flexibility in his leadoff.
Caruso takes strike number 1 from Aoki, who's continued to pump straight strikes, even with a runner on out of the stretch. The 0-1, excuse me. Shot down the left field line, hooks into the Michigan bullpen. Count moves to 0-2. Caruso got a lot of it, couldn't keep it fair. Got his hands a little bit out in front. Rolled it over the line drive into the bullpen, where Cade Connolly is warming up, likely to take the field in the top of the 7th. Right now, Caruso 0-2. Voit on second. The pitch. Called strike 3. Caruso doesn't love it. Clipped the outside corner. And home plate umpire Jason Stidham says it got enough of it to be a strike. Voit is stranded at second. And Aoki works his way out of the 6th. Aoki's allowed 2 runs through 6 very, very strong innings. Only 61 pitches. And Michigan still retains a 2-0 lead as we head to the top of the 7th. It is Cade Connolly who comes out of the bullpen onto the mound. The lefty who will face Cade Higgins for USC.
Connolly, of course, coming in after pitching for Toledo last week. A little bit of a thriller win for Michigan. He's hoping to complete potentially a save here for, or not a save, but to complete the win for Big U. Apologies there on my end. A little bit more overcast than it has been here in Ann Arbor. You can see why this game was moved for concerns of weather. Wind is picking back up. Uniforms rippling out there, especially for our first and third base umpires. Bullpen is now quiet for the Wolverines. As we said, Connolly on the mound is Higgins. It is warming up, swinging.
Connolly, a transfer multiple times, started his career at Santa Clara, didn't play in his freshman season, and then appeared as a sophomore or a redshirt freshman in 2022. Then transferred to, believe it or not, USC in 2023, and then now at Michigan as a grad student in 2025. Made his debut against Virginia this season. So a little bit of revenge, a little bit of rivalry played with a lot of these players. Connolly did at USC, including players like Cade Higgins, and now he gets to face his former teammate The top of the 7th. Wolverines do lead 2-0. Connolly, lefty on lefty, faces Higgins. First pitch. Falls a little bit low for a ball, 1-0.
Both players here training together back at USC most likely know what the other is capable of and isn't willing to make too many moves.
The second pitch a little high. Ball 2, 2-0 to Higgins. The 2-0. Fastball framed for an extra second by Spear. Does not get the call, and quickly Connolly has fallen behind 3-0.
Not how he wanted to start pitching this game. However, earlier Viggy was able to get out of 2 holes like this. Let's see if first closer, or reliever, excuse me, Connolly can hold it out for the Wolverines.
The 3-0 from Connolly resets the pitch clock and now fires home in there for a strike. 3-1 to Higgins, who has the first hit of the game today and then is now 1 for 2 as he grounded out to third. Pitch grounded up the middle. Voigt snags it on a backhand, but he'll have no play as he was deep in right field on the shift. Ball just found where the spot where no one was, and Higgins finds himself with a single on a soft ground ball. Voigt cut it off to allow any chance at extra bases, but Higgins aboard with no outs here in the 7th. Connolly already has a man on base. We'll have to work out of the stretch. Up comes Martin Grudzelanek for the Trojans. 0 for 2 on the day. Flied out to right and then grounded to third. First pitch, low in the dirt for ball 1.
Grudzelanek, the San Diego native, playing for USC, was a transfer from UCLA and is appearing now up against the former USC player, Connolly.
The 1-0 bounced foul into the Michigan dugout, snagged by one of the coaches. 1-1.
Connolly stares down his opponent on the plate, looking to see if he can make something happen here.
A move over to first by Connolly. That lefty step up in the air and then move your foot towards first base to avoid any sort of balk. Fires over to Ibarra. No play, though. Just keeping him honest. Keeping Higgins honest. The 1-1 home. Bounces in for a ball. Spear traps the ball and runs out to get it. Higgins cannot advance, but that's now 2-1 on Bryce Martin Grudzelanek.
Shift there, moving in slightly to the right. Still pretty symmetrical here. He could really be putting this anywhere if he gets on the end of it.
Swing and a miss on the 2-1. 87 miles an hour. Grudzelanek didn't quite see it right, and the count evens up at 2-2. Connolly sports a 1.04 ERA on the season, looking to keep that low. Fires home. The 2-2 swung on in, chopped hard down the third baseline, but foul. Count will remain 2-2. Connolly allowed only 1 run and earned run on the season. Pitched 8.2 innings, so next out would get him to complete earned run average of 1. The 2-2 to Grudzelanek. Outside. Count runs full. 3-2. 2-0. Michigan leads. Runner on first is Cade Higgins with a leadoff single. Cade Connolly coming on relief, trying to keep this Wolverine lead. Top of the 7th inning. Martin Grudzelanek at the plate. 0 for 2 on the day. The 3-2 pitch is not thrown home as it is thrown to first to keep Cade Higgins there.
Connolly, the lefty, has a great sight line there on first and is able to see any potential shenanigans leading off, trying to steal second.
Now the 3-2 home, swung on and cracked down the left field line into the wall. Extra bases for Grudzalonic. Over to cut it off is Colby Turner. Quickly gets the ball back in. Higgins stops at third with no one out. Runners at second and third. No outs here in the top of the 7th, and the Trojans finally have something cooking.
Again, shift there not coming into Michigan's favor. Was able to find not a gap, just a hole out to the side. And now is advanced runners to second and third for the Trojans. And that, with no outs, this is suddenly a dangerous position for Connolly.
Connolly now. First pitch to Covarrubias. Covarrubias is outside, 0-1. Inside of the first baseline is the first baseman Ibarra. He's playing in, looking for a play at the plate. Should there be a bunt or a chopped ball to him. And the second pitch is also outside, 2-0. No one out. And Cole Caruso, a veteran on this team, goes up to the mound and checks on Cade Connolly, gives him some words of advice. That will be marked as a mound visit, but quickly back to his position is Caruso. Connolly toes the rubber on the third base side. Lefty against the righty Covarrubias. The 2-0 pitch. Runners on second and third. Pitch popped straight up in the air. Fading foul. 2-1 now to Covarrubias. Who has 6 RBIs on the season. There are 2 sitting there for him. Should he find a gap or just an outfield single? Connolly, that was a big strike for him. Now he can pitch 2-1. It's a lot easier than 3-0. The pitch in there for a strike at 86 miles an hour. 2-2. Connolly looking for a strikeout pitch to avoid letting Higgins score from third. Connolly toes the rubber. Fires home. Swung on, chopped to first. Grabbed by Ibarra. Stares down Higgins at third. Steps on the plate. And now there's a tie-up. Grudzalonic ran to third. Higgins didn't move home. There's a pickle over to Casillas. Casillas tags Grudzalonic in between second and third. And just like that, the Wolverines catch an absolute break. A double play. Ball was bounced to Ibarra. Higgins didn't move from third, but Grudzalonic ran from second. Ibarra stepped on first, said bye to Covarrubias, and then threw over to second for a little pickle with Casillas. That's just a simple, classic 4 unassisted, and then you throw to 6. Get the runner in between second and third. Miscommunication by the Trojans. Now there's 2 outs and no chance for a sac fly for the pinch hitter, Maximo Martinez, the freshman who steps in. Pitch is in there for a strike. The momentum has shifted just like that. Martinez pinch hitting for John Elliott.
Higgins still out there on third base, was stuck watching that whole ordeal, not being able to move.
The second pitch also a strike, 0-2 to Martinez. Just like that. The Wolverines 1 strike away from getting out of this mess. Connolly fires home. Swung on and missed. Cade Connolly flexes his emotion, works himself out of a 2-on, no one out jam. Fist bumps, chest bumps, the whole Wolverines team, including a dap up from Dylan Bigu, and the Trojans are still scoreless. Now, if you're Andy Stankiewicz, you cannot be happy with that whatsoever. That is a disastrous outcome to runners on second and third and no one out. And it's still 2-0 Michigan as we head into the 7th inning stretch here. The bottom of the 7th upcoming as Aoki is on the mound.
Michigan's bench there, dugout, cleared out, celebrating there with, for that big play there, as we see USC Trojans take the diamond now.
Richard Tejada takes over as the catcher for the Trojans, placing John Elliott, who was just pinch hit for by Maximo Martinez. Tejada from Riverside, California, played at Riverside Community College before transferring to USC. Aoki still on the mound, still pitching a gem. Unfortunately, it's not as much of a gem as the Wolverines have thrown. Started by Vigu, continued by Connolly. Aoki only at 64 pitches, though, through 6 innings, averaging just over 10 an inning. Really efficient work. Wolverines are trying to swing on that first pitch.
Aoki probably going to see this inning out, maybe even make it to the 8th, seeing how he does. He's done very well so far, only letting up 2 runs. But still, those 2 runs, the only ones on the board for either side. 2-0 for the Wolverines as we enter the bottom of the 7th. Up at bat is Spear for the Wolverines. Spear, the catcher, senior, bats .231. Experienced man here on the team, looking to start off this inning with a bang. Wolverines have been swinging for the fences on the first pitch every time. Maybe he'll hit it again.
Lefty climbs up into the plate, floating out to right twice today. First pitch from Aoki is swung on again, this time fouled down the left field line, out of play, into the parking lot. Sound effects man here at Ray Fisher Stadium having some fun with that, with the fake car crashing window sound. 0-1 to Spear, senior catcher for these Wolverines. The 0-1 outside in the righty batter's box. 1-1.
For all we know, the sound effects might be real. There's been a lot of foul balls ending up in the parking lot here outside of Ray Fisher.
The 1-1 catches the outside corner of the plate. 1-2 to Matt Spear. Graduate out of San Clemente, California. Another Californian playing for Michigan here. Been at Michigan just this year. He transferred from San Jose State, played 4 years there in the Mountain West. Really good defensive catcher. Has some pop behind the plate as well. Spear in the lefty's batter's box, crowding the plate with 2 strikes against Aoki, who fires home the 1-2 shot to right field. It's high, it's deep. Is it fair? We wait for a signal. No, it is foul. I don't know how they decided that one was foul. It was high, deep, way over the training facility here, and it looked like it could have been on the inside of the pole. Instead, it's ruled foul. Spear, disappointed, trots back to home plate. That was a no-doubter. Turned out to be a foul ball. Counts for a strike, and will do the 1-2 again. Aoki fires home like nothing happened. Called strike 3. What a turn of events that is. Just like that. Spear thought he had a home run, then watches strike 3 fly right by him. Watching the replay of that, the first base umpire didn't even signal. It was signaled by the home plate umpire as a foul ball. And now Spear walks back to the dugout, disappointed as a strikeout is the result of the at-bat rather than a home run. There's 1 gone here in the bottom of the 7th.
Very hard to see that ball clouding up here. Blends in quite well with the clouds, high up.
Will Rogers steps in as the DH today, batting .348 on the season. A lot of Wolverines with very impressive batting averages. Slugging .652 is Rogers, albeit not much, not a huge sample size. He's only played in 8 games and started 6, 0 for 2 on the day.
In that, those high percentages can be attributed to some of these good games. Even losing yesterday, still put up 4.
Swing and a miss on the 2-0. Count runs to 2-1. Aoki cruising. 73 pitches here in the bottom of the 7th. Still 2-0 Wolverines, and a little bit of a pitcher's duel we've had. The 2-1 is low. Bounces in for a ball. The Wolverines' last shutout was a 19-0 win against Villanova earlier this season down in Puerto Rico, where they started. Wolverines started the season with 4 straight wins. Fantastic showing in Puerto Rico, and then 4 straight losses before bouncing back and forth to their 10-7 record. The 3-1 is in there for the strike. Count runs full, 3-2. Still 2-0 here, though. Looking to move to 11-7 against these Trojans, who are also 10-7 right now. And tie the series up at 1 apiece. The full count from Aoki in, chopped to second. Fielded cleanly by Covarrubias. Fires over to Carpentier for it. Out number 2. And Aoki pitched very cleanly for 6 of these 7 innings that he's fared in. Coming up to the plate is Colby Turner, who gave Aoki his first struggle of the game and his biggest struggle of the game with that leadoff home run in the 3rd.
Covarrubias there made quite the routine catch throw over as we go for the next.
First pitch, slicing down the right field line into the bullpen for a foul. 0-1 to Colby Turner.
Yeah, had the pitcher who's warming up out there, maybe to replace Aoki in the next inning, having to catch that ball. It's Waring pretty close by.
Turner in the right batter's box against Aoki. The pitch home swung on and missed. Turner hard contact twice against Aoki with the home run and then a line out to second. But now the count is 0-2. 2 away here in the 7th. No one on. Michigan leads 2-0. The pitch chopped down the first base line. Goes foul right before it reaches the glove of Carpentier. And Colby Turner will get his at-bat with another life as he trots back to the plate. Well, that one is off the end of the bat. Not much contact on it at all. Eventually spun over the first base line, out of play.
Good break there for Colby Turner, especially since first baseman there is playing a bit back and in, trying to cover more of the field there. Wide range. So they're a little bit concerned about his hitting power. So he got that homer in the 3rd.
Turner looks at his bat. Lines up against Aoki from the windup. The pitch. Shot into center. Line drive that's sinking. Running under it is the center fielder Dowd for the out. And just like that, Aoki with another 1-2-3 inning through 7 strong innings. Wolverines still lead 2-0. We go to the top of the 8th. Cade Connolly back on the mound after he worked out of a jam in the 7th.
Yeah, really interesting scenario there. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. Ended up with a double play with only a man on 3rd. Was able to close it out. Hopefully doesn't get in that position again. However, this experienced man, graduate student, transfer, ends up here at Michigan and has been pitching very well this season with, I believe now, just a 1 ERA.
Less than that at .93. Only allowed
0.93,
one run in 9 2/3 innings.
Wind picking up here again. Hats sort of flying about for the Michigan team returning to the field. Sun peeking through again, gap in the clouds. It has been getting cloudier since the start of this game. Before we get back into the action, I'd like to remind you again that Wednesday is WCBN Giving Blue Day. This is, of course, our yearly fundraiser, and this helps us, student broadcasters, travel, fundraise for our station, and for road trips to cover more great sporting events. As without much of these funds, would be able to do what we do. So if you can give any little bit for us, you can scan the QR code or follow the link that we have here on the video. However, if you can't, or you're just watching anyways, thanks for tuning in. We love to have you here. It's always a great day to be listening to some baseball.
Up to the plate is Braden Down. Reached base twice on a hit by pitch and a single today. The first pitch from Connolly in there for a strike. Trojans only have 2 lefties in their lineup. Dowd is one of them. Second pitch, Dowd squares to bunt, pulls back, but it's called for a strike anyway. So 0-2 quickly here on Dowd in the top of the 8th. Still 2-0 Wolverines. The 0-2 high curveball tries to drop into the zone. Dowd chops it foul down the first base line. That ball never really moved, but still Dowd had to take a swing on it. Couldn't risk it dropping in for a strike. Stays alive. 0-2.
Pitch landed close to his hands there off the bat.
The 0-2 chopped up the middle. Casillas cuts over on a knee. Throws to first. Not in time. Dowd was hustling down the line. Great play by Casillas. The shortstop for Michigan sliding over, trying to beat Dowd with a throw, but it didn't have much power from his knees. And Ibarra had to come off the bag to field the throw, avoid any further bases. Dowd with an infield single. Yet again, the leadoff batter for the Trojans on base, looking to start something. Hedges at the plate. Could tie the game up with one swing of the bat. Has 5 homers on the season. The first pitch, rocket into right field for a single. A big round of first base is Hedges. Ball quickly comes back into the infield, and yet again, runners on the corners for the Trojans. Nobody out. Connolly worked himself out of a jam in the 7th. Gonna have to do it in the 8th.
Yeah, ball found right there, just in a gap between second base, center field, and right field. Found a little bit of success there. Dowd moves to third, Hedges to first. As both runners equip their more specialized bright yellow gloves, reached for the bases.
Connolly now faces Adrian Lopez. 0 for 2 on the day, but has been hit by a pitch. And there will be a mound visit yet again. In the bullpen, though, warming up is Will Rogers, who started as the DH today for the Wolverines, so he could pitch. He's getting warm out there, getting his arm ready. Might have to come in relief of Connolly. He's a righty. Brock Hunsinger taking a long, slow stroll out to the mound to check on Connolly, trying to get him through one more batter before Rogers might be ready. Umpire from home plate comes out, tries to break up the mound visit. Sure they're not time wasting to make sure Rogers is ready. And it does look like Rogers is indeed ready right now. So Connolly hands the ball over, greeted by the Michigan dugout. And in comes Will Rogers.
Next reliever here for Michigan, as he hopes to take care of this sticky situations the Wolverines have found them in. No outs, runners on the corners. Connolly goes to the dugout.
Trying to protect this 2-0 Michigan lead. Will Rogers, the senior out of Shoreview, Minnesota.
Players dispersed back out to their positions now, letting Rogers settle himself on the mound. Meanwhile, Lopez is continuing to warm up his swinging here.
Rogers been a little bit of a long reliever for these Wolverines. In 6 appearances, has 15.1 innings. Allowed 6 earned runs. Does have 4 saves on the season, so he's a high leverage long reliever for the Wolverines. 4 saves in 6 appearances. Has the loss against LSU, did allow two hits, a run and an earned run against TCU to get the loss there in a 4-10 L. But coming in this very high-stakes situation, down 1-0 in the series, up 2-0 in the game, runners on the corners, no one out in the 8th inning. 0 for 3 hitting on the day, but now takes the mound. He lines up in the middle of the rubber, not favoring either side.
Keeping whoever's up to bat guessing. Great move here, especially considering the situation that we've said the Wolverines are in. Wind starts to pick up again here at Ray Fisher here in beautiful Ann Arbor. Again, players overlooked here by Chrysler Center in Big House, Michigan. Great history for sporting schools. Of course, Wolverines, 8 World Series appearances, 2 national championships. USC has the record. They have 12 championships here. However, both teams sitting at 10-7 going into this game. Of course, second game of the series against USC, Michigan lost yesterday 7-4 in a failed comeback.
In steps Adrian Lopez, righty left fielder. Rogers fires home his first pitch in there for a strike. Jumps ahead quickly, 0-1. Wolverines up 2-0. Runners on the corners for the Trojans. Dowd at third, Hedges at first. Lopez at the plate. Infield and outfield at about regular shift. The pitch fired, shot into left field, into the corner. That'll score 1. Dowd scores. Hedges on his horse. He's being waved home. Play at the plate. There will not be one. Casillas holds the ball, and the Trojans have tied up the game just like that. Top of the 8th, the second pitch that Will Rogers throws is into the left field corner. Adrian Lopez, a stand-up double, knots this game up at 2. And there's more danger ahead for these Wolverines as there are still 0 outs. Adrian Lopez stands on second base. Rogers has his work cut out for him.
He had his work cut out for him going in. Tough position having runners on the corners. Now a man on second. Sandwiched in between the USC players.
The first pitch to Takeuchi, a very slow EFIS 68-mile-per-hour pitch. High for a ball. Takeuchi 1 for 3 on the day. The pitch fouled back for a strike at 91 miles an hour.
Rogers there, letting the clock wind down quite a bit, throwing it between 3 and 2 there. Very opposed to Vigu, started that out, throwing it very early on in the pitch clock.
The 1-1 bunted behind Takeuchi for a foul ball. That'll go to make the count 1-2 here. As a strikeout would work wonders, but any hit to the outfield likely would score the game-leading run, the lead-taking run for the Trojans. Takeuchi, a .333 hitter on the season. The pitch home almost hits Takeuchi, who didn't move a muscle, was perfectly happy to let that one hit him. Instead, it misses him. 2-2.
Very dangerous for the Wolverines, especially if Takeuchi would have gotten on base there with that hit pitch. Put runners on first and second, and still no outs.
Pitch, another slow 76-mile-an-hour pitch, misses high. Rogers unable to get on top of that one. And now the count runs full. 2-2 here in the top of the 8th. Runner on second, no one out. Rogers to Takeuchi. The pitch. Shot back up the middle. Grabbed on a backhand by Voigt. Fires to first for the out. That hit didn't quite have enough to leave the infield, but on the play, Lopez moves to third. So he's a sac fly away from scoring the lead-taking run. As Carpentier steps up to the plate Now is the time you want to strike out or weak contact. It's a tie ball game, but before Rogers can face him, Tracy Smith, the head coach, the manager for these Wolverines, comes out of the dugout and it looks like he's heading to the bullpen.
Another pitcher warming up down there. Can't quite see who it is based on our angle, but again, seems to be ready enough to come in.
Rogers faces 2 hitters, allows a double, 2 RBI double, and then an out on a ground out to Voigt. And Tracy Smith has seen enough. Believe Rogers will retain his role as DH. Should Tracy Smith elect that. Lincoln, how do you pitch around a hitter like Carpentier here with a man on third, the lead taking run? Tracy Smith's talking to the new pitcher. What do you tell him? How do you avoid a sac fly in this situation if you can?
I mean, you got to throw your most reliable pitches down there. I mean, you're trying to get strikes here. Runner on third, very dangerous. Like you said, cannot afford a sac fly. Looking for some strong power here.
Max Debiek, the new pitcher, first baseman a few nights ago, but pitching today. Tall right-hander. I think you got to pitch him low. You don't want to let him get under anything. Try to get a hard ground out to freeze the runner or a pop-up if he's trying to scoop the ball. Debiek has a little bit of an awkward motion, almost a hitch in his pitch. Has a save on the season, 11.1 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. 12 strikeouts, 5 walks. Debiek put in this high pressure situation. No runs even allowed, let alone earned ones.
See if you can keep that number going for him. However, difficult situation again. Score is tied 2-2 here between Michigan and USC on this rematch from last night. Second game in the series here in Ann Arbor. USC, of course, won last night 7-4. Wolverines hoping to stay tied here. We're in top of the 8th, 1 out.
Debiek out of Seattle, Washington, went to O'Day High School. Same high school that Paulo Banquero went to. Many other athletes, a private school. Churns out athletes, but Debiek steps into a big moment here.
Must be something in that water up there makes them so good. However, maybe it's the school cafeteria food. Regardless, he's seeing the mound here. Difficult spot as Carpentier steps up at home.
Debiek pitching to Carpentier. Debiek fires home. The first pitch in there for a strike at 91 miles an hour. Jumps ahead early. The 0-1 from Debiek has a clear look at Lopez at third. It's the lead taking run. Fires home. Behind Spear, a wild pitch will score Lopez. And just like that, the Trojans take a 3-2 lead. Debiek is in disgust, fires a ball towards the Michigan dugout. And now he'll have to regroup as the Wolverines are in need of another run. Pitch was outside in the lefty's batter's box. Spear couldn't get in front of it. Bounced all the way to the backstop. And now Carpentier has the bases empty for him. 1-1 chopped foul. Count goes to 1-2.
We're talking about keeping the pitches low there and keeping pop fly out of contention. However, the runner scored without the need of any contact to the bat.
The 1-2 just a little bit outside. Spear wanted that call, didn't get it. Wolverines will have 6 outs to play with in the bottom of the 8th and bottom of the 9th to put up at least one run. But right now they need to get out of the 8th. There's one out here as DeBeck pitches home to Carpentier. Another deja vu of the same wild pitch that scored Lopez. This one's not as costly. So there's no one on base. Count runs to 3-2.
Still, though, aiming a little bit too far there. Missing his catcher there. No one in the bullpen. They're staying confident with DeBeck.
The pitch home freezes Carpenter for a strike 3 looking. Fastball at 92 miles an hour. DeBeck picks up the second out of the inning and his first strikeout. His 13th on the season. In steps Cade Higgins, who's 2 for 3 on the day. Trojans have put up 3 in this inning in the top of the 8th. They now lead 3-2. That wild pitch hurts so much more after you get a strikeout on the second out. Now Higgins jumps on the first pitch. A slicing fly ball will find the left center field gap. Roush was shaded over to right center, and the ball landed in medium to deep left center field. Higgins in with a stand-up double. His second double and third hit on the day. And now there's another runner on. USC looking for a crucial insurance run in the top of the 8th.
Roush there lost his hat running over to get the ball. He's been shifted favorably a little bit into right field, and that cost him there on that run, putting the runner on to second.
In steps Richard Tejada, his first at-bat of the day. DeBeck's pitch home, swung on and missed. Tejada batting .111 on the year. Only had 18 at-bats and 2 hits. Time is called as DeBeck's hat flies off of him and goes all the way to the on-deck circle. The umpire will retrieve his hat and give it back to him. DeBeck's hair flowing in the wind as his hat was taken off of his head.
Hat picked up there kindly by Covarrubias as he's waiting on deck. 2 outs here at Ray Fisher as USC is now up 3-2 over the Wolverines. Top of the 8th. DeBeck on the mound, staring down Tejada.
The 0-1 misses outside. 1-1 the count to Tejada.
Strong breezes here again. Really whipping through.
The 1-1 drops below the zone for a ball. 2-1. Good take there by Tejada, the junior catcher.
Higgins on second leads off a fair amount, looking to see if he can somehow slide onto third.
The 2-1 in there for a strike. The count evens at 2-2. 2 outs here. Runner on second. Trojans up 3-2.
DeBeck checks back every once in a while. Kim lost his hat again. Like I said, this wind is no joke.
DeBeck to Tejada. The pitch chopped to short and third, and the ball gets by Casillas. Rounding second and scoring for the Trojans is Higgins on a kind of fluky play that gives the Trojans an insurance run. The ball was chopped in between Caruso and Casillas. Casillas was standing, but Caruso dove in front of him, nicked the ball just enough to get by Casillas and worked into shallow left field. Waving home Higgins was the USC third base coach, and just like that, the Trojans have put up a 4 spot in the 8th. and that will result in a run for USC and an error for Michigan, as that play should have been a relatively routine ground ball for the left side of this infield. Covarrubias steps in for the Trojans and takes ball one. DeBeck running into more trouble than he has all season long in this 8th inning. Trojans now up 2, 4-2. DeBeck's 1-0, misses for a ball. 2-0 now.
Tejeda on first, 2 outs. The infield has kind of shifted farther back out on the line. The outfield has moved a little bit more in than they have usually.
Tejeda on at first. The count runs to 3-0 on Covarrubias. Chance for more trouble. Multiple runners on. There is 0 action in the bullpen right now. Now a person starts warming up. Ricky Kidd for the Wolverines, but DeBeck looking to get out of this jam. Swerves in there, strike number 1.
88 miles an hour there, a little bit slower than he threw when he got out here, however, working well for him.
The 3-1 fought off out of play into the parking lot. 3-2, 2 outs, full count, 4-2 Trojans. Tejeda on first. He'll be in motion with the delivery from DeBeck.
First foul we've seen in a while here.
Tejeda goes, fouled back yet again to the same spot. And DeBeck will do it one more time.
3-2, it's a crucial pitch. Close out the 8th. Sort of nightmare inning for the Wolverines thus far. Got up 4. And an error.
Deja vu, deja vu. Another foul back to the same spot. Covarrubias staying alive, putting up a battle with DeBeck. He's trying to work out of this 8th inning where the Wolverines have surrendered the lead and then given the Trojans the same margin the Wolverines came into the inning with. It's now 4-2. The pitch. Tejeda goes, and it's low for ball 4. Runners now on first and second as Ricky Kidd continues to stir in the bullpen. In steps Maximo Martinez. Pinch hit earlier for John Elliott. And then the Trojans executed a double switch to get Tejeda into the game as well.
Martinez has already been through the lineup before, though, once. Strikeout in the 7th, however. But again, looking to get some sort of action here, get himself on base, set up an RBI perhaps. Runners on first and second. Covarrubias on first. Tejeda, on second. Meeting on the mound now. Ump goes out to speed things along.
And Tracy Smith takes the ball from DeBeck, sends him to the dugout. The Wolverines will execute another pitching change. Ricky Kidd, the righty, will enter the game. Kidd, a senior, 6'1", out of Trenton, Michigan, so a homegrown talent. But spent 2 years at Henry Ford Community College before Michigan. Now it's his 2nd year with the Wolverines. Pitched on Tuesday against Toledo and then also last night against USC. 1 inning, 1 walk, but a scoreless inning last night. So a good performance, and Smith likes the look of Kidd against these Trojans.
All Good has to do right now is to close out the 8th in a dicey situation. Infielders start returning to their posts. However, they're still sort of grouped up having a discussion. USC's runners are yet to get back out there. Some warm-up pitches appear to get thrown. Wind is picking up again a little bit. I've mentioned this a lot today, but it's sort of hard not to understate as it keeps whipping in our faces here. We're sitting up in the booth, open window, blowing around our equipment. and blowing around, I guess you could call it the equipment of the Wolverines. Their hats and their output, their throws and their hits. Wolverines are down 2 runs. USC 4, Wolverines 2 here at home at Ray Fisher in Ann Arbor. This game is extending as we see Ricky Kidd on the mound. Will face Maximo Martinez for USC. Cycled through a lot of pitchers here in the 8th for Michigan. It's been a trouble spot. And what was a very good pitcher's duel between Aoki there and
Vigyu for the Wolverines.
Yeah, sorry there.
Vigyu pitched 6 very strong innings. Aoki's already through 7, but this is a very long hitting inning for the Trojans. I'd be surprised if he returns for the 8th, although there's not much action in that Trojans bullpen, so looks to be at least 1 man up, but we'll see if Andy Stankiewicz, the Trojans manager, elects to let Aoki run with the 8th inning, or if he retires him now in line for the win and goes to the bullpen. First, though, the Wolverines have to get out of this jam and keep the Trojans within striking distance. It's 4-2. Runners on first and second. And Ricky Kidd at the plate, or at the pitcher's plate, pitching to Maximo Martinez, the freshman shortstop. 0 for 1 on the day. First pitch home, low, ball 1 at 89 miles an hour.
Starting off here, looking back at second, making sure Tejeda doesn't steal anything. Positioned that way to make a quick throw.
The second pitch, a slurve, started at the front hip of Martinez, worked its way over the plate. Strike 1, 1-1, 2 outs, 4-2 Trojans, top of the 8th inning.
Runners leading off a lot. Covarrubias is off farther than Tejeda.
Pitch fouled back and out of play. Count runs to 1-2. No one holding either runner on. Tracy Smith giving the trust in Kidd to get out of this inning by himself. Down to 2 strikes, 2 outs on Martinez. The pitch, high, ball 2. 2-2, 2 outs, 2 men on, 4-2 Trojans.
Spear popped up there looking to catch Tejeda, however, Tejeda retreated back.
Two and two, tried that same front hip slider, didn't move as much this time, almost hit Martinez. You don't want to hit Martinez with Braden Dowd on deck. Martinez in the 9 hole. You'd rather get him than face whoever would be next up.
So hitting him also loads the bases for USC. Puts them in Michigan and even worse.
Full count, position. Runners go. Pitch is popped up in the air. Fading towards the right field line. Over and grabbing it is Kim, and the Wolverines get out of the inning, but not before USC puts some damage on. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 2 men left on, a whole bunch of pitchers. 4 to be exact that inning for the Wolverines. They leave the top of the 8th inning down 2, needing 2 runs in either the 8th or the 9th. Due up for the Wolverines, starting with A.J. Roush, the 9 hole, then to Casillas and Kim, and should one of them get on, Mitch Voigt would step up with a chance to tie the game, even take the lead.
In terms of hitting summary so far, USC has dramatically changed their course. 9 for 31 now. Much more action compared to the Wolverines, 4 for 25. Believe we have a pitching change down there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a lefty now for the Trojans.
Yes.
Looks like it is
Is that Mason
Unable
Edwards?
to see right now.
I believe it's Mason Edwards, number 30. Yes, Mason Edwards on the mound now. Left-handed pitcher for USC.
Edwards, a lefty out of Los Angeles. Pitched in 20 games last year as a freshman. Now a sophomore. 3.86 ERA on the season. He'll face Roush, Casillas, and Kim.
Mason Edwards from the LA area, the Palisades Charter High School. He's playing for one of, I suppose, his local universities. Happens to be one of the most historically great baseball programs in the country. Roush up to bat now. 9-hole. Has seen the the plate twice before this.
Roush steps in. His back right foot on the back end of the batter's box. The first pitch from Edwards outside. Ball 1.
Roush had 2 ground outs so far this game, hoping to get some change here for the Wolverines.
The 1-0. Chopped foul down the first base line.
Didn't get very much on that. However, if he can get on base here, he sets up a great batting order as we return to the top. Casillas, Kim, and Voigt.
Edwards from the windup fires home. Swing and a miss. 1 and 2 to Roush now. Wolverines looking for a little bit of a rally starter. Something to get a runner on base, move him over, get him home, do it twice to tie up this ball game. The 1-2 swung on and missed. Edwards with a changeup got Roush way out in front, made him look silly, and there's 1 gone in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Edwards there throwing a few pitches close to 90, and then the one to get him out all the way down to 81. That's what got him to lunge out that far. And Roush already had his back foot pretty far back, so he just looked like he attempted to do the splits.
Casillas steps in, takes strike number 1 right down the middle. Edwards out of the windup. Looks down Casillas. The pitch swung on and missed. A little bit of a tip. Got the hand of the catcher, Tejeda, for the Trojans, and he's gingerly walking it off. Looking at his hand, shaking it off, and now he returns to his spot behind home plate.
Might take a little bit longer to call some of those pitches now. However, he seems to be doing okay and returns to sit back down. Wind picks up again here. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some more hats flying. Pretty normal layout here. Not too much of a shift by any means. However, Carpentier is quite a bit off first. Pretty usual for the Trojans.
Casillas stands in against Edwards. The pitch. Casillas got just enough to stay alive. Fouled it back behind home plate. Grabbed by Michael Kim, who's in the on-deck circle.
Still 0-2. Some slower pitches are causing some of the Wolverines some trouble here.
To Casillas, the pitch. High. Check swing. He did not go. The appeal down to the first base umpire, David Buck, says he did not go, and Casillas lives to see another day. On deck, looks like it is Noah Miller, the freshman catcher, instead of Michael Kim. Jonathan Kim, excuse me. Edwards now fires up the middle. Casillas knocks a single into center field, and that's what they needed, a runner on base. Benny Casillas on first. Only has 1 stolen base on the year, and it is Noah Miller. Pinch hitting for Jonathan Kim.
Miller from Monroe, Michigan, not too far away from Ann Arbor here. He's a redshirt freshman coming in to pinch hit now.
Big spot here. 1 out, 1 man on in the bottom of the 8th. Wolverines down 2. First pitch from Edwards to Miller out of the stretch, right down the middle. Strike number 1 at 90 miles an hour. Casillas taking an average size lead, not risking getting picked off as he was a very important base runner, but also ready to move should Miller find a gap. The 0-1 down low, 1-1.
And USC's watching. Tejeda ready for that throw to first. Didn't need to that time.
The 1-1 off speed, swung on and missed by Miller. Caught himself out in front. And the count runs to 1-2. Miller looking to make contact, move Casillas over as Mitch Voigt stands menacingly on deck. The 1-2 fouled back to the feet of Mitch Voigt. And we'll do it again. Crowd getting a little into it now. Count is 1-2 on Noah Miller. First at bat of the day as a pinch hitter. Tracy Smith liking that matchup more than Jonathan Kim, who's a lefty, against Edwards, who's also a lefty. The pitch, way outside. Almost looked like a pitch out. Don't think it was. 2-2.
Casillas there returns to first. Returns back out to the leadoff. They've really been eyeing him out there, seeing his danger as a base stealer. However, he's not really giving them too much to work with.
Casillas stunts going. Sometimes can get in the head of a lefty pitcher, and that pitch is high for ball 3. So we have a full count. USC up 4-2. Runner on first is Casillas. Casillas in the head of Edwards a little bit. Mason Edwards steps off of the rubber now and regains his composure, resetting the pitch clock to 20. Now Miller climbs in. Edwards climbs in. And then Edwards fires over to first. You can see that Casillas is in the head of Mason Edwards.
Absolutely. I mean, he's bought Miller here basically 3 balls.
Pitch outside. Noah Miller draws a walk, and there are runners on first and second for guess who? Mitch Voigt.
This is exactly the position Michigan wants to be in. You have your best hitter, one of the best in the Big Ten right now, up to bat. 2 men on. He hits a homer here. Michigan's back ahead.
Voigt is 2 for 2 with an RBI on the day. 2 doubles and a hit by pitch. No better man for the job than Mitch Voigt. We'll see if Andy Stankiewicz wants to leave Edwards out there or make a pitching change. Looks like he's letting Edwards go. So it's Mitch Voigt versus Mason Edwards. 2 men on, 4-2 Trojans, 1 gone here in the bottom of the 8th. The pitch, way outside, goes to the backstop. Both runners advance a base, and now there's no double play threat. Runners on second and third. Mitch Voigt, chance to drive both home and tie up this ball game. A hit to the outfield should tie it up.
It's got even more interesting, and it doesn't appear to be anyone warming up in USC's bullpen. They are sticking with Edwards even after.
And now here comes a coach for USC to give a talk to Edwards. Pinch running for Noah Miller does look to be A.J. Garcia, sophomore number 18 for the Wolverines, adding a little extra speed to that tying runner. Trojans unable to retire Voigt thus far today. And now he's ahead 1-0 with 1 out. There's a meeting at the mound. The umpire are going to break it up. Mason Edwards trying to protect a 2-run lead for USC, and he'll stay out there.
Voigt batting at .426. Very well. trying to extend that. Done very well this game with an RBI.
Absolutely ridiculous video game numbers. Slugging .809, .518 on base percentage equals a 1327 OPS. That's unheard of. And guess what? Trojans are going to intentionally walk Mitch Voigt. They don't want anything to do with him. He's going to take first base. And now the bases are loaded. 3 ducks on the pond for Jeter Ibarra. Lefty on lefty matchup here that Tracy Smith electing to keep. Now the double play is back in order. That makes sense for these Trojans, Lincoln.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it very well there. Voigt, like a video game character with his stats. Any chance to minimize threats here by USC in such a dicey situation is good.
Ibarra's 0 for 3. The first pitch down low, ball number 1. Thing is, you can't walk him now. You can't hit him now. You got to get it all. You got to get him in play or get him out.
Absolutely. I mean, they're really banking on Edwards here. See what he does.
The second pitch down low, but it's called a strike. Look, pitches looked identical. Results in 1 ball, 1 strike, 1-1 to Jeter Ibarra.
A little bit of wiggle room for Michigan, only 1 out, even if Ibarra gets out and Caruso has to step up. But they'd like to do it with Caruso.
1-1 from Edwards outside. Jeter Ibarra with an easy take, 2-1.
Excuse me there, Ibarra would like, they'd like to do it with Ibarra there.
Ibarra has 11 RBIs on the season. Bases are loaded. 2-1. Trojans up 4-2. 1 gone. The pitch. Shot down the right field line. Hooking foul. Jumped off the bat of Jeter Ibarra. Instead, the count evens up at 2-2. Defend the zone here. You want to put the ball in play.
Hard to tell exactly where that was going initially. It ended up hooking into the bullpen there for USC. It appears they have some.
Ibarra, the lefty, the pitch, just a little outside. Tejeda wanted that strike call, didn't get it. Instead, it's now a full count. Full count, 1 out, bases loaded. Jeter Ibarra at the plate, Mason Edwards on the mound. Trojans up 4-2, the pitch. Outside, Ibarra draws a walk, and the Wolverines cut this lead in half. Strutting home is Casillas. He steps on home plate. It's now 4-3, and Mason Edwards isn't out of the woods just yet. Faces the exact same situation. Caruso, Cole Caruso at the plate. Now down 1, game lead taking run on second base in Mitch Voigt. Game tying run on third base in Garcia. So a sac fly ties it. A hit will take the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. 4-3 Trojans. The pitch. High and outside. Ball number 1. 1-0 to Cole Caruso. Edwards looking to work himself out of an absolute pickle in the bottom of the 8th.
That walk there also getting the crowd back in.
The pitch popped up, foul, out of play. Caruso ready to swing at it. Didn't get in front of this one. Had to play into the parking lot. 1-1. Ibarra on third, Voigt on second, Garcia on third. Excuse me, Ibarra on first, Voigt on second, Garcia on third. Cole Caruso at the plate. The pitch, chop to second, to shortstop for 1, to first for 2. 4-6-3 double play. Trojans work themselves out of a jam with a necessary double play, and they go into the dugout with a 4-3 lead. That is worst case scenario for the Wolverines.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what happens. You said they were out of the woods. It's very unlikely if you had the runners on second and third to get that double play, and then with that walk, advancing runners twice to first that allowed that double play. Obviously, they did end up conceding a run off of it, but it could have been much worse.
So Trojans into the top of the 9th inning with a 1-run lead, 4-3. Ricky Kidd still on the mound for the Wolverines, looking to keep them within 1 run, but the top of the order has gone now for Michigan. You need the middle of the order to pick up a run in the bottom of the 9th, or else USC will take the first 2 games of this series and the series win.
Now see Dowd strutting out to take some practice swings. Michigan are also their outfield and infield warming up. Long balls here. Big issue with the wind picking up again. Clouds back up in the sky. A little bit bigger, a little bit darker than they have been earlier in the game. Shadow of the large M here now. We see Michigan down 1, 4-3, top of the 9th. See if USC extends their lead at all. Michigan down to the middle of their run now. Dowd up to bat. Had a pretty good game so far. Very good, I'd say. Singled twice.
Kidd looks in to Dowd. Fires home. First pitch, a little bit outside. Ball number 1. Garcia fills right field instead of Kim. The other 8 defenders remain the same. The pitch to Dowd. Slicing line drive into center field, caught by Roush. It was a knuckling ball into center. Couldn't quite tell if it was going to drop or be caught, and it was caught by Roush for a quick out number 1. In steps Ethan Hedges, who scored one of the runs in the 8th inning.
Great effort there by Roush, really extending himself to grab that, running in from pretty far deep in center.
Pitch from Kidd in there for a strike. Number 1, off speed. Kidd looking to keep USC scoreless in the 9th and allow Wolverines just 1 run to tie up the ball game. Second pitch from Kidd looked pretty similar, but a little bit lower for ball number 1. So 1-1 here to Hedges, the Trojans' best hitter.
Great opportunity for him to extend this lead for USC and make this game tougher.
Chopped to short. Grab by Casillas. Fired to Ibarra. Out number 2. 6-3. No trouble there for the Wolverines infield. Kidd quickly has 2 away in the top of the 9th. In steps Adrian Lopez for the Trojans.
Kidd hopes to close out the 9th and give his team the best chance that he can give by letting this stay with just a 1 score difference for the Wolverines. Eyes him up now.
The pitch to Lopez. Lopez turns to bunt, then pulls back, but it's called a strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Ump calls time. Resets the pitch clock real quickly. Kidd steps in again. Ricky Kidd, great name if I don't say so myself. Looks into Adrian Lopez. Fires home high. Ball 1, 1-1 to Lopez. USC leads 4-3 in the top of the 9th. There are 2 away. Wolverines took an early 2-0 lead, and then the Trojans stormed back with 4 in the 8th. Wolverines cut that lead in half. High fly ball into right field. Garcia circling under it, makes the catch. And the Wolverines will go into the bottom of the 9th, down 1. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on. 1 run is necessary to extend the game. 2 would win it. 0 would lose it for Michigan. They need it now.
Both teams, or excuse me, Wolverines' defensive capabilities did all they could. Now it's left up to the rest of the batting order here. Up here next for Michigan appears to be Spear. Looks like the Wolverines are sending someone in.
Due up is Spear, Rogers, and Turner. See if Tracy Smith elects to go with that same three or a different three. Spear is a lefty batter. Edwards, who's on the mound right now, is a lefty pitcher. Generally, coaches avoid lefty-lefty matchups late in the game. But we'll see what Tracy Smith elects to do. Right now, it is Matt Spear in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, he's giving his practice swings. He's stepping up. Seems he's going to be the man to do it.
Spear has 3 home runs on the season. 3 of his 9 hits are homers. Batting .231 coming into the game. .214 right now.
Edwards still on the mound for USC. There is some action in the bullpen. However, they are going to hold out with Edwards. See what he can do to close out this game.
Edwards looking for that 6-out save. The pitch to Spear in there for a strike at the knees. 0-1. Spear's 0 for 3 on the day. 2 flyouts to right field and a strikeout looking. The pitch shortly grounded to second. Grabbed by the second baseman, Covarrubias, and fired to first in the nick of time to get the hustling Spear. It was a bang-bang play. Very close, but the ump ruled him out, and Tracy Smith will not challenge.
Yeah, pretty clear out there. However, still was close effort, and certainly was a race out there.
Cade Lodehoff will pinch hit for these Wolverines, as it is the pitcher's spot. When Rogers took over, they used that pitcher's spot on him, and it would be Ricky Kidd, but instead it'll be Lodehoff. He's batting .200 on the year with a .669 OPS. First pitch in there for a strike. Lodehoff, the righty, has 40 at-bats, only 8 hits on the season.
Only 2 outs remaining.
The pitch is low. The appeal down to first base. He did not swing on the check swing. Lodehoff has a little bit of a closed stance. Crowds the plate. His left foot about 6 inches further forward than his right. On that batter's box line. The 1-1 in there for a strike. A little bit inside, but since Lodehoff crowds the plate, it's still over the plate. Strike from Bradentown, Florida, does hail Cade Lodehoff. The 1-2, 1 gone here. Pitch low, but swung on and missed. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 9th, and just like that, the Wolverines are down to their final out. They will leave Colby Turner, who has home runs last night and today, at the plate. Down to their final out. The Wolverines need magic now to keep this series from going to 2-0 Trojans. Great performance from Dylan Vigue, but then the bullpen let up 4 runs in the 8th, and now Mason Edwards on for the 6-out save. The first pitch home, outside, ball 1. If you're Colby Turner, you can't try to do too much here, Lincoln. You got to just try to get on base, leave it on to the rest of your team. Swinging for the fences doesn't often result in home runs. The 1-0 home, swung on and missed, and it sure did look like Turner was swinging for the fences.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's close down to the bottom of the rotation at 8. Could circle around maybe if they get enough on base. However, he seems to go for it himself.
The 1-1 down low. Count runs to 2-1.
Outfield positioning a little to the left than normal.
The 2-1 high for a ball, 3-1. Now this is a pitch, 3-1. I know it's the stereotypical fastball count, but a pitcher wants to stay ahead, stay in the at-bat. Might throw a fastball here if you're Turner, you want to jump on it. His homer came on an off-speed pitch earlier, a hung slider. Now Edwards is 3-1. Fastball in there for a strike. That was a pitch to hit. Turner turns around, spits on the ground, now climbs back into the box. Down to their final strike are the Wolverines. 3-2, 2 outs. Trojans up 4-3. The pitch from Edwards. Cut on and fouled back. Got just enough to keep the Wolverines alive.
86 miles an hour there from Edwards. Caught it a little bit too far back. Another opportunity here for Michigan.
Turner climbs in, looks at his bat, now looks at the pitcher. The pitch from Edwards, outside, ball 4. Colby Turner earns himself a walk, and the tying run is on base. In steps A.J. Roush, the center fielder for the Wolverines. Has a homer on the season against Toledo. 5 RBIs. If anything's going to happen, they need it now, and there will be a pinch hitter for Michigan, Greg Pace Jr.
Detroit, Michigan native to Edson Academy. 6'3", 195, the junior. Super athletic, be a great leadoff man here. See if they can make something here with only 1 out.
Pace on first, trying to score. Should a ball find a gap? Roush climbs in, still down to their final out of the Wolverines. The pitch swung on and missed, and Roush was going for it all. It was a little bit of an off-speed pitch. Roush guessed fastball. 81 miles an hour. He swings through. Count is 0-1. Pace Jr. on first. Trojans up 4-3. The pitch is low. Count evens up at 1-1.
Yeah, Roush there really trying to do it all here. Try to close out this game for the Wolverines and make a big play. However, it's not working out too well at the moment.
Edwards stares down Pace, fires home, shot down the left field line, just misses the third base coach in foul territory. And once again, the Wolverines are down to their final strike. 1-2. Edwards to Roush. Pace Jr. on at first. Stunted a steal last pitch, didn't go. Can't imagine you go here. The game on the line. 1-2. The pitch is not thrown home. Check over at Pace. On Pace at first. And he hustles back to the bag safely. Mason Edwards looking for the save. Has 0 on the season. He's looking for his first one. He'll check on Pace yet again. Pace dives head first back into first base safely. Trying to hold him on, not let him score. Should a ball find a gap. Center fielder for the Trojans. Dowd is straight away in center. The 1-2 home. Low. Good short hop by the catcher Tejeda. And the count evens up at 2-2 with 2 gone here in the bottom of the 9th. Wolverines down a run. A.J. Roush, the man of the moment right now. 0 for 3 on the day. Runner on at first. Low and inside. Count runs full. Now Greg Pace gets a running start from first. Full count. 2 gone. Trojans up 4-3. 1 swing of the bat could tie the game or win it for the Wolverines. Any out or strike wins it for the Trojans. Mason Edwards climbs in. Comes set. The pitch home. Shot foul down the third base line, and we'll do it again. Biggest pitch of the ball game. Full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The count runs full, 2 outs. All force runners will go. Pace stole last time. He runs back to first. We'll do it again. Edwards climbs in, stares down Roush. The pitch home. Called strike 3. Roush is disgusted with the call, and the Trojans take game 2 here in Ann Arbor. When it's a 3-2 count, you got to swing on anything close. Roush took a pitch that was a little bit too close to the plate, and USC takes the win 4-3 thanks to an 8th inning rally. USC 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors, 8 men left on. Michigan 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. 6 men left on. That error turned out to be costly. USC takes game number 2 here in Ann Arbor at Ray Fisher Stadium, 4-3. Dylan Vigu pitched a masterful 6 scoreless innings. Caden Aoki pitched 7 innings of 2-run ball, followed up by a 6-out save by Mason Edwards. And Lincoln, the Wolverines, came up just short.
Absolutely. I mean, yesterday, when they lost 7-4, almost looked like they were mounting a comeback there. Those 7 runs for the USC came early. Here, it was the reverse, but this time, Wolverines had scored less, and the Trojans were able to claw back against the usually tenacious Wolverines. Ends 4-3 here at Ray Fisher. Wind is picking up once again, as it has all game, signifying the end of this match here.
Thank you for listening to us on WCBN Sports and our production of Michigan Wolverines baseball. Appreciate your viewership. Wolverines fall to the Trojans 4-3. For Lincoln Iaquaniello, I'm Theo Shernoff. Good night. Go Blue.